What's the buzz?
What's going on, brah?
I'm just checking through everything. Basically, I made an earlier report to the people on the show that I've looked in the local papers, looked at the national, at the sites, obviously not the newspapers. So I should say the local news sites, the newspapers, the national news sites, the newspapers. And here's the news for today, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. Everyone hates everyone.
Hey,
right,
buddy.
Let's move on.
Back it up. We'll start fresh tomorrow.
Now we know.
It's just every story is incredibly negative.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
It is sad.
You
It
gotta have
really
to
is.
love the world.
Yeah,
What's
sad.
that?
Not surprising.
But yeah, but it is, and it shouldn't be a situation where it's not surprising, but it's just what is driving. It's got to be obviously political views, and I still don't understand how you lean one way or the other, and you want to damage other people because they don't think what you think. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I feel like COVID made us really care what other people are thinking.
Well, 67, 68, 69 were like that too, but that was the death of what, 4 major figures in the nation. So it's pretty much the same thing. People were scared to come out of their houses. Everybody's getting shot.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see people getting really involved in other people's viewpoints when you feel like there could be a murderer among you when it so casually happens.
Which one of you is a murderer?
What?
Which one of you is a murderer? That's what I want.
Ooh, if we had to pick, let's play this game.
Don't get any closer, Tevin.
Or I say, depends on how the rest of the show goes.
Yeah, there you go. There you have it. I don't know. But we look for news stories every morning, and I try to find some light ones. Not a whole light ones this morning. But you got to report the news, right?
You got to report the news.
Thank God we'll be talking to Judd in about 10 minutes so we can lighten things up by how much we love our teams. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
Basketball. Yeah,
Not
the
so
basketball
fast.
team's doing well.
Hockey seems to be turning it around.
Yeah.
What do they win? 1 or 2 now?
One. You don't be great.
Yeah,
That's
just
not
one.
turning it around. That's not turning it around if it's just one.
We
start of
won
the
one.
Yep.
We won
We
one.
won. We won.
They're the best team in the past 8 hours. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, so that means they're 1-9 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, something like that. But we don't with details, Tom. Details.
Oh,
Yeah.
details, that's true.
1-0 in our last one.
1-0. That's exactly right. 1-0 with the hockey team. Then you got. I cannot tell you. No, it's the hockey team that just hired the new coach. Correct.
Correct.
I cannot tell you how many emails I got last night asking me, Tom, now that John Hines is the head coach of our hockey team, will Bob Berglund, and they bring up, you guys probably are too young to remember Bob Berglund, aren't you?
Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea who
Hines
that
and
is.
Hines and Berglund were a very big morning show, and they were at WLOL. So do you even know what WLOL is?
We
Yes.
laughed out
It's a
loud.
comedy show.
No, WLOL used to be a radio station in town. It's now public radio.
Yeah. You weren't the only one, Tom, especially my other friends in radio who aren't that into sports. They were like, John Hines is a
I
hockey
know.
coach now? Like that was
And
all the buzz.
It's HYNES, correct? The
Oh,
Hines.
at least it's spelled different.
Yeah, it's spelled differently. So they showed a little video of him. I didn't turn it up, but I just watched the video for a second. His first day on the job, he was not happy. I'm telling you that. He's out on the ice kind of pointing sticks at people and blah, 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 blah.
I think I know what you're talking about. That was actually that got resurfaced. That is Mike Yo from the old.
Oh, I thought it was him.
No, yeah, that's the old Wild coach. After his job was starting to get kind of on the line, and he had one practice where somebody snuck a phone in the stands and he let the team up. It's unacceptable. Just swearing, cursing them out, blah blah blah, and then he was out the door like 2 weeks later. But yeah, they do look similar with the bald head and kind of the physique and everything like that.
Didn't Mike Yo go to Toronto and win a championship after you left here or something, or came close?
No, he went to the St. Louis Blues.
There we go.
Afterwards, and I want to say they matched up in the playoffs against him.
Oh, okay.
I think they lost that because, frankly, this team doesn't get past the first round. But yeah, details.
Just the way life goes. That's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on things for you. But the Vikings have the week off. Like I said, we'll talk sports in about 5-6 minutes. Looking at the headlines today. Florida students walk out. Now, here's exactly what I'm talking about. Do you think, because I'm another generation from you guys, no question about that. Do you think that if a transgender student came to North High School, that I would pay attention to that? I go, oh, good, right?
I don't think I mean, unless it directly impacted you, you wouldn't care.
But how would it impact me? I guess that's a great question you're asking.
No, I just mean that in like a way that everybody should probably be, unless like literally that person every day came up to me and punched me in the face. Like, why would I care what gender somebody's presenting? It just doesn't bug me.
Because the headline again is Florida students stage walkout after transgender sports controversy. Do you know what the sports controversy is? I do not.
I read a little bit of this. It's about volleyball. The way that they keep verbalizing what happened, they don't want to say they took him off the team. Did you read the article, Tevin?
I didn't read the article, but I mean, if it's anything near what every other transgender high school story is, it's usually a man transitioning to a woman that's trying to play a women's sport, and everybody's like, no, that's a dude.
From my understanding, it has to do with some of the staff and faculty like being reassigned to not working at the school anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they like the staff requested that because they were like disgusted, turned out, like whatever verb you want to use there, by the fact that this transgender student was then playing volleyball. So that students were walking out in protest of those staff members pretty much having an issue with that student.
Yeah, it was really confusing. The reassigning they kept using that word over and over. And I don't know what that means. Like, how many school districts can just take on a different, like, we'll go to a different school? Because, like, there's not that many, like, what? Is
there argument the fact that a man who becomes a woman still has the muscle structure of a man? I mean, it depletes over time, but it takes time for that to happen. Are they upset that a woman who used to be a man is so much taller or stronger than everybody else? Is that the argument?
I don't know.
That's usually the argument, in which it really never came up because people assume they're like, oh, well, if LeBron James became a woman, you would be, dominate the WWE.
I don't know if he's good at volleyball.
Right. Well, that's not the, type of person typically that is, transitioning one way or another. But then there was the swimmer that just housed at the Olympics or Olympic trials or something like that caused a big controversy.
I don't think they got to the Olympic point. I think they were in college.
Was it college? I thought it was like Olympic trial. Oh, okay.
I think it was college. I feel
either way.
I feel like it would have been a much bigger story if it was the Olympics.
Yeah, no, not the Olympic, trials or something.
She would never was, or she was never at the trials. We go to the trials every year or every 4 years.
Okay, but yeah,
she was never there.
No, she was doing, I think, college and
won like a ton of events, right?
Yeah, like was breaking some, not like all records, but like breaking some records, and people had feelings about it. Like, I mean, listen, I'm a pretty like go with the flow person, but at the end of the day, men have a bigger heart than us. Like, and I'm fine with them competing, but it's like they might have to have like a little asterisk. I just want to be like, I'm fine with losing to a transgender, whatever. Like, I mean this. I'm like, I don't actually care. They should compete in sports. They should be part of the team. But let's throw an asterisk on that bad boy. Like, just like the heart alone. And the reason I say this is because, like, I'm a runner. I love running. I run. And I will go to an army, like when I would go to army stuff, there'd be all these like overweight guys who couldn't run as fast as me the first week. And then it got like 1 week and they would be able to run as fast as me. And they're like, yeah, I just ran a couple times, quit eating ho-hos for 2 seconds, and it would piss me off so much.
Well, it's a different muscle structure. There's no doubt about it. Hey, therefore, in my weightlifting days, I should have bitched because Animal and Hawk were a lot bigger than me. Yeah, I'm not happy.
You did bitch.
I did?
You still do.
Well, that's true. But I never did steroids. That was a big difference.
Well, thank God, because look
you
where they are now.
Me on steroids.
Oh, my God.
You ever seen anybody with roid rage?
Yeah, I was in the army.
Oh, that's right. You did it a lot, didn't you?
Wait,
I didn't do steroids a lot, but I've seen people roid out for sure.
Are people in the army just like doing steroids left and right?
Why wouldn't they? Well, I mean, we get tested for certain things, but you can not as much as like a lot of people, and also they'll get like back knee like crazy and.
Oh, sure.
I just feel like
yeah.
the people, like the person that you least want to have roid rage is the people that are around live ammunition constantly.
And that are like insanely like stacked, like strong people
What? That's
with high school
disgusting.
educations that are mad at everybody and haven't had sex in like a year.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're not the one you want.
Does anybody have an understanding of why it causes acne on pretty much on your back?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Why not everywhere?
they'll always go, it's from the, because we had to wear so much armor. We're like, yeah, sure it is, Johnson. Like,
well, I mean, the great thing about this is we can talk to Judd Zulgad because he, of course, did steroids for 10, 20 years.
yeah.
Right?
Oh my God! In 1999, I hit 52 home runs for Baltimore. I'm not sure if you recall that. Just
Asterisk.
huge season, and before that, my high was 3.
Yeah, you're gonna
And
need
nobody
an
could
asterisk.
figure it out. Nobody could figure it out what I did. But yeah, no, I will fully admit I did a whole thing of steroids, and God, it was good for me.
Oh, did you once?
No, I'm kidding.
I didn't think so. 'Cause I didn't
No,
think
I wouldn't touch. I'm way too afraid of that.
Tom, I
Judd
think-
really had to push out. He was up against a deadline for the paper and needed to get some
Yeah.
words. in.
Tom, I also think when he said I did a whole thing of steroids, like we should have probably been
Yeah.
onto him.
Oh, no,
Brittany's
no.
right.
You've been around guys who do steroids. They say stuff like that all the time.
That is true.
There's
Oh, wow,
no
I fit
doubt
right
about
in.
it. Yep, exactly. That's exactly right. So apparently, well, they're not, are they? I mean, it's still around because there was just a special on. I don't remember where the hell it was, but they showed these people. These guys are now literally the size of a telephone booth. If you're old enough to remember what they looked like, but the size of, let's see, what else would be that same size? They're just massive. I mean, their arms are like that big. Now you can't live long with muscles like that, I wouldn't think.
Like
Right.
who you talk like Mr. Olympia type thing?
No,
Or-
yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think so. It was a movie about steroids and what they're doing, how they've gotten even bigger.
Well, yeah, they're huge now, and I mean they've always kind of been huge, but especially in the bodybuilding community. Who was the Ronnie Coleman, the famous bodybuilder that won, a ton of Mr. Olympias, I believe, back in like the early '90s. They did a documentary on him, and he can't even walk now, and he's
Right.
popping
Oh,
Yep.
oxy like it's Skittles because he's in so much pain and can't, get into his car or make it up and down stairs.
Well, and I'll tell you what, every guy that I used to lift weights with out at the gym that did steroids, every one of them's dead. So I mean, and they died very young. I think the longest lived was Joe. I think lived to be 62.
is it always heart stuff?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it messes with your whole system, your body, your blood flow. It messes with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not even just the steroids. If you're taking, pre-workouts and caffeine and whatever else you're trying to get
Yep.
blood pumping, it's
Our guys would when they were in Kuwait, they would just down that powder of no explode. They would just put that in their mouth, and it was like, stay away from them. They are insane right now.
Did you say caffeine's a problem, Tevin?
it's a gateway drug to steroids.
Because if that's true today, I'm going to be doing more steroids than you can shake a fist at, man. Because I got a lot of caffeine in me.
Well, I noticed you're wearing a very thick sweatshirt, so we can't see your muscle structure.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's so you don't have to see it, Tom.
You don't have to see it.
That's so you don't have to be subjected to my muscle structure.
Getting down to Judd's expertise, let's talk some Minnesota sports, shall we?
Good night last night. Good night last night.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You look dazed. You're like, I don't have a lot to talk about then.
No, are you kidding? No, are you kidding? No, I was just enjoying my caffeine. We got the Timberwolves won last night, and a very nice comeback. Now, unfortunately, in the third quarter, Edwards took a tumble and hurt his right hip, and I'm not sure if he's going to miss time or not. We're awaiting word on that, but that was a nice win. And then, of course, in very hockey-like fashion, the struggling Wild fire their coach on Monday. They have a new coach on Tuesday, and they win their game on Tuesday because that's how hockey works.
Well, that's how hockey works. I already brought up the fact that I've already gotten 8 billion text messages about John Hines. I will tell you that. because the other John Hines used to be my roommate. So,
Oh, was he really?
oh yeah, he and I lived together with my brother Terry too. The three of us lived together.
Oh, that's
It was
interesting.
terrific. And then all of a sudden they both said, "Oh, you know what? We've decided to move in with women." So I had this huge house all to myself. It was a real thrill.
I can't blame him for that move, by the way, Tom.
I understand completely, no question about it. But so hockey doing well, basketball doing well. It's nice to hear. I mean, particularly this time of year, we are about 26 days away from the beginning of winter. The winter hasn't even begun yet, and dealing with a little thing here, a little thing. It is good to see our winter sports teams doing well. That's why I became such a huge fan of the Minnesota Gopher basketball team. Gave me something to do during the winter.
Absolutely. And as we've discussed before, that used to be such a great environment. I mean, that program is so far gone now, but man, people don't know, I mean, unfortunately, there's now a generation of fans that have never experienced the barn like the barn was back in the day. But in the 90s, that place was just rocking. God, that was a fun environment.
You know what the great thing was too? You could find a beer. It was pretty interesting.
I don't remember that. You could?
Oh God, yes. Well,
Okay.
I'm not saying they sold it to you, but you could find a beer is all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just curious where I was going to explore the territory. Where did you find the beer? Because that was on campus, and at the time you could not you could not get a drop of alcohol on that campus at sporting events.
That is exactly right. Except I think in the rich people booths, I think they still got liquor.
Okay, that makes some sense.
Yeah,
that makes some sense. Although, when did they build the lofts there at the barn? Because for a long time those weren't there. I mean, that's as bare bones of facility as you will possibly get.
I got a chance to play a couple of basketball games on that court, and it was one of the thrills of my life. God, just to play on that magnificent raised surface it was fun. But then, of course, Don Shelby played a lot better than I did, which pisses me off. But
oh, come on, but Shelby, that can't be a surprise. Indiana guy?
Shelby's
that's all Shelby did.
Yeah, you're right. He's a hell of a basketball player. He can shoot the lights out, man. Plus, I love the guy. Did I mention that? Wait a minute. Tom admitting to loving a guy who's a liberal? Oh, my God. He must be switching over. From their politics. Settle down. Anyway, so good. The basketball team won. The hockey team won. Yep. Anything? Oh, now next weekend, the Vikings have that off. They can rest up a little bit from that grueling loss that they had to one of the worst teams in football. So that was good. Well,
yeah, my God, who needs the break after that game? Us.
Yeah,
the fans do. We need the break from the Vikings after that abomination. But the good news on that one is that they did activate and put Justin Jefferson back on the active roster, so he will play in that December 10th game against the Raiders. So, but by the way, that December 10th game in Las Vegas, where I fully expect that stadium to be almost nothing but Vikings fans, and I'm not sure if I was told this. I guess airfare out there is absolutely ridiculous. I guess it's something like $2,000.
Oh my God, 2 G's?
What?
Yeah. Well, between the Vikings fans and the Wolves fans potentially getting ready for the in-season tournament championship game that's out there, it's going to be a hard ticket to get out there.
But 2 G's.
Yeah,
and that's not even both ways. It's just one way. Thank you very much. Now that's a lot. I remember when it used to be like $300.
Sure, it should be cheap.
It should be, yes, absolutely.
Flying there should be cheap.
It always was cheaper because Las Vegas talked to the airlines and said, look, you're going to fly so many people out here, you're going to make a ton of money anyway, lower the fares so they can lose more money to us. I mean, they literally talked about that. You got to keep more money in their pockets so we can get it from them when they lose at their bets.
Did they kick back then to the airlines?
So. I don't know if they did or not, but the arrangement was that if you don't do this, then you will bring more people, put on special events, that kind of thing. There was an agreement they would put on these big events that people would want to come in and see, big shows, Frank Sinatra, whoever, whatever it was.
Yep.
And all the people would come. So the airlines made a ton of money. And then, lower fares. They had more money to lose at the casinos.
Evidently, those days are now long gone. If 2 G's is accurate, is what I was told.
Exactly. Well, the greed is at its highest level ever. You know that, no question. All right, what else is happening, Pally?
Nothing from the Twins. So your Twins were didn't get a player on Tuesday, but they didn't lose one, which is good. So yeah, it basically the most exciting thing in town is the Wolves, who by the way are now 13-4. Like the Timberwolves are really, really stinking good, and hopefully Ant is not going to miss much time because this team has a chance to be unlike any Timberwolves teams that we have seen basically since about 2004.
Judd, how detrimental would it be to the team if Anthony Edwards has to miss any time? Like, does that just throw everything off course, or can they power through and, maybe they lose a couple more here and there, but they'll be fine when he comes back?
It hurts for sure. He is their spark plug. I mean, he is, if there's a heartbeat to that team, it's him. So I don't think that they would go in the tank without him, but I do think that it would be a huge loss. He's just such an important part of that team. And I mean, he came out, so they were trailing in the, I think at halftime last night, he came out in the third quarter, and before he got hurt, Tevin, I think he scored the first 11 points. I mean, he's just outstanding.
Yeah, he's definitely the heartbeat of the team. So I think we have the talent. Cat can give you a good performance here and then to, if Anthony Edwards is out short term to kind of make up for it. But I think what you would lose the most is that competitive edge that he requires everybody around him to play with. And that would be something that would be tough for them to maintain and then get back quickly once he returned.
The best part, Tom, is I believe the Wolves in-season tournament games, which have been a new thing this year, I believe their home games are done, which means we don't have to look at what color court do the Wolves use for like Tom, the whole court is like blue, like a shade of blue. It's the weirdest thing because the league said, well, people, how are they going to know it's an in-season tournament game? Well, first of all, there's a big inscription of the damn trophy on the court, which is actually fine. But then all of these courts are the Knicks used a orange colored court. The Knickerbockers. Old man yelling at clouds. Yes.
Who doesn't love it though, right? Oh my God, it happened again.
What's going on?
It dropped off.
You're still there.
No, we still got you.
Oh, good, because the picture's gone.
Good.
Yeah, the picture. So, which is fine with me. If you know what, I'm going to have to turn that camera off if it's doing this because I don't have to see everybody. As a matter of fact, to tell you the truth, Judd, I'm assuming you're still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. While you guys were talking about the Timberwolves, I looked at Brittany and AJ. Brittany had her eyes closed, kind of nodding off, and AJ yawned.
It's an early morning. I'm up at the crack.
It's
I
time.
didn't see
maybe
Brittany
to
close her eyes.
I didn't close my eyes once. I was listening to him talk about the different floors in the orange court.
You better look back.
Your eyes just closed just there.
I mean, sometimes I like to get them a little wet.
Yeah, see?
With a quick blink.
Again.
I'm like a crackhead right now. I've been up since 6:30. Like I am not even tired.
What?
And she's now explaining how she blinks so that she moisturizes her eyes.
Is that can I do that?
Look.
Should we take a vote?
Not,
Should we
no,
take a vote?
You do what you need to do, especially if you've been up since 6 o'clock.
No, I mean like I'm not tired at all. I've been listening.
No, you just look bored.
Age was.
That's all I'm saying.
Age was.
I don't even think I leaned on my
and he's
hand this time.
Sports on to sports.
I must tell you though, Judd, that he does it every morning. It's at least 3 times. I think it's hilarious. Why did we start using video? Is it because of YouTube? Is that the reason you use video?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in today's world, if you're not doing video, it's not worth doing a show.
Really, they need video that much. I mean, because basically back in the old days, the radio and all the rest of it, they would have never thought of doing this because it was too distracting. We're not doing that. Plus, most disc jockeys are not that handsome. That might be the other thing.
No, well, times has changed. Tom, you've gotten a lot better looking, and you
Yeah,
still got to give the people what they want.
You're
Nice
hot as
try.
hell.
Yeah, nice try. Okay, it's time to move on. We got a guest coming up. You guys being nice to me. There's something wrong.
DJs aren't good looking. What? Wait. Hines and Berglund weren't good looking.
That's true. They were. They were. You're absolutely right. I stepped on my. No, never mind. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it now. I've decided. In any. Oh boy, Jesus! I'm having a hell of a life right now. I'll tell you that. Anyways, any final comments, sir?
No, that's about it. Let's just all stay awake, continue to consume caffeine, don't start doing steroids.
Yeah, right.
Today's lesson, it's like a Sesame Street. Today's lesson has been don't do steroids, caffeine, okay. Don't yawn without AJ covering your mouth. That's the key to life, because then I can't tell as much. And Brittany, keep those eyes moisturized.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And Tevin, you look great.
Tevin, you're not doing anything to annoy Tom today, so congratulations.
Today is young.
You know what?
Yeah,
Tevin's looks carry the show. The female demographic comes from Tevin. I get it now.
I'm offended, you guys. I'm not hideous, okay? Walking around talking. And also, I appeal to women, all right?
I'm not hideous.
Like, I can't,
that should be a liner. That should be a liner for the show. And Brittany's on because I'm not hideous.
I'm not hideous, all right?
No, nobody said you were hideous. I just said that Tevin is, he's got the high,
I get it. Tevin is
in great shape.
Precious.
All right, we got him. Do you guys ever look at the log and see how fast we have to go to these breaks? Or do you just talk and not pay attention to when we have to be off the air? Which one is it?
Wait, we have a log for the show?
We're on air?
Oh, God. I hate all you. Let me just say that as we do go to break.
I
I didn't even know there was a log for this show, so I'll just skedaddle.
Bye, Judd.
All
See
right.
you all later.
Yet another
Bye.
thing that wasn't taken care of properly. But okay, see, I did not know you guys don't have the log. Because they keep going.
We do have the log. I was being sarcastic. You
Oh,
talking
you
about the
do
rundown for the show?
Yeah, the rundown. Yeah. Okay, you see where it says there that I got to be out by 8:20 and it's now 8:26? Oh, we're not answering now.
Well, I don't want to point out the obvious that, like, we were deep in the interview. Like, you kept going. I don't know what you wanted me to say.
Oh, let's roll it back and hear who kept going.
I didn't.
All right. Well, you guys have no sense of humor. We just learned that too.
No,
Anyway.
I feel like this show is going great. I think it's
No,
going
I'm not saying
really
it's
well.
not. It's not. But so you guys do have the log.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we get to our guests on time is all I'm saying, which now Chris is only going to have about 6 minutes on the show this morning, unfortunately, because of the timing. We will take a break, be right back in a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain and no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 offer when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I wouldn't recommend a service, like this, of course, unless I knew they could help you. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 9520-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, zeroresminnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
Somebody's moving paper, baby. Let's take a second to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, or you know your broker, and they know you. Well, a lot has changed since 1998. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. So, if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my bankers at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Eggert joins us, Channel 5's Eyewitness News. Chris Eggert, how you doing, Chris?
Hello, Tomas. How are you?
Marvelous. Now, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Because you're usually on until 8:45.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
Do you want to stay on for that 5 minutes? Because Bill Engvall is coming on with us at 8:40. You want to stay on and talk to Bill Engvall?
I can bug out at 8:40. I actually got to go grab a thing before I go on the air for Minnesota Live. So I appreciate the offer, though.
No, I'm going to tell Bing. Yeah, our TV guy, he doesn't care for you. So yeah.
No, that's not it at all. It's not it at all. I can always use a little extra prep time because I don't know if you've ever been on the air with me before, but sometimes it can be a little rough. So
I don't know what you're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Eggert. I started laughing. Sorry. Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. So, Mr. Eggert, what's in the news this morning? What's the latest?
Well, what do you want? There was a fire overnight in Egan that drove a pretty big fire that drove some people out of their apartments. They're obviously taken off guard, woken up in the middle of the night, run outside, freezing cold, anyway, they're trying to figure out what started that. So one of our reporters was there all morning. It doesn't sound like anybody was hurt, so that's good. And then our other reporter this morning was at Afton Alps because they opened up for the ski season today. So
really today?
Yeah.
I suppose that pre-Christmas thing's a big deal for skiing, isn't it?
I think so. I think they like to be open for sure before Christmas, even though there's no real snow in the forecast, but it's cold enough to sustain the snow now. So I guess that's why they wait this long. So
that makes sense. I want to go back to just one story very, very quickly. Have any of you guys ever been in a burning building?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Have you, Tom?
Yes. But the other two guys are not, you never been in any either?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, well, I can give the address, 2955 Russell Avenue North, because it's still an empty lot after all these years. It was never rebuilt. So I can give the address because there's not a house there anymore.
Yeah. But
I was at home sick from school. I was going to St. Anne's down there on 26th and Queen. And just kind of watching television, all the rest of it. My mother walks over. It's one of those old houses where you opened a door to go to all the bedrooms. In other words, you open this door and then the bedroom on the left, bedroom right, bedroom left, 3-4 bedroom houses, that kind of deal.
Yep.
So it's separated from the rest of the house. She opened the door and this flame shot across the roof and almost touched the other wall on the other end of the room.
Dang.
And the only reason I bring this up, because it's quite an experience to be in a building that's on fire. It's just my mother and me, and it was raging too. That flame was huge. But my favorite thing about this story is my mother ran into the kitchen and ran back and threw water on the fire from a coffee cup.
That'll do it.
I don't know. What do? Your instinct is to try to do something, right?
That's exactly right. But yeah, that's I'm sure many people have been out there going through that kind of situation. Now, an apartment building would be much worse because if you're on the third or fourth floor, man, that's got to scare the hell out of you, I would think.
This particular building, Forest Ridge townhomes, they're called. So they're townhomes.
Oh, okay.
So it looks to me like the highest, they're only 2-story at its height.
Yep.
So, I mean, not that that's still not frightening having to come down the stairs or whatever, but yeah, we don't know what started it yet.
Yeah, man, a lot of fires around the United States in the last couple of days. House fires. I mean, does that have something to do with the change of the seasons? And
it usually does. Yeah. And like furnaces getting used and, maybe not maintained properly or candles burning. I mean, although I think the number one thing that sparks fires is food on the stove, which I've come close to a few times, but not actually to the point of flames.
Is it because the oil spits up out of the pan and then ignites the pan? Is that what we're talking about?
And they do, like you were saying, your mom just grabbed water thinking that that's the best thing to put on it. But water's like the worst thing to put on a fire on your stove. Like that just flares it up even worse.
That's what I hear. Absolutely. Thank God we don't have to go through that. My God. It's just, yeah, there was a story. I can't remember it was down south somewhere, Georgia, Florida, some damn place. But it looked to be about a 15,000 square foot house and the whole thing burned to the ground. Like, my God. They showed the flames. The flames were, honest to God, 75. They looked like 75 feet high. It was unbelievable.
Well, think about all that in Maui with all those giant homes that were all right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
That was like, it was like somebody pouring gasoline on that entire Lahaina area. And I mean, it just went up like that. At least that's the way it looked from the videos that we saw, but it's crazy.
I still don't understand how it didn't cross the street over to the rich people section.
Well, you know what? Oddly enough, my partner in the morning news, Megan Newquist, she's actually getting ready to go over there next week and do some reporting on the fire itself and sort of the tourism aspect. Are people supposed to go there? Or are they supposed to stay away? Because right away it was like stay away, but the tourism industry, runs the show there. And so then you're hearing, well, no, actually we'd like you to come and spend money because otherwise, we're screwed. Yeah. So anyway, she's headed out there. So that hopefully she'll find some answers.
You guys ever been to Maui?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
It's magnificent. Well, not right now, obviously, but magnificently beautiful island. It really is. I hope it all comes back. The trees on that island, particularly. You know what I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah. Well, in Lahaina, there's this giant tree that's right in this middle of the park.
Yep.
Right in the middle of like this town square. I mean, the tree goes on it almost looks like it goes on for blocks. Do you think it's that big, Tom? I mean, it might be.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think there was worry that had burned right away, but I think they think it was mainly saved.
Oh, good. It's spectacular.
I just remember going to Mick Fleetwood's bar, which is right there in downtown Lahaina, and having a drink. And I thought it was pretty cool because apparently he would like come in there pretty regularly. He didn't come in there while we were there, but I mean, that was just all these like really nice shops and stuff torched like that. It's a bad deal.
Yeah. All right. Get off your ass and go do your job, Buster.
All right. Say hi to Bill.
We'll do that. Thanks a lot, Chris. Great talking to you.
Yep. See you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Eggert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Chris Eggert with the news. Just guys, just let me know when the Bill Engvall's coming on, and we'll get it taken care of, all right?
Looks like he's here.
Oh, he's on already. Okay. Mr. Engvall, are you on?
TB, how are you doing?
Bill, I got to tell you something. It makes me, I just got the sheet this morning, and I remember when I had the highest rated morning show in America over at the Q, and you guys came through town on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. It's like, and I'm not talking about, buddy system all the way, but I gained, when you guys did that, I gained 4 friends that very night. You guys have come through so many times, and every one of you is just a great guy. Boy, it sounds like I'm sucking up to you, Bill, but I don't mean to be. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, you notice I didn't say stop.
That's very. But look at the people I've become friends with because of that tour. You guys are the best.
I think that was one of the reasons it was so successful for all of us, was that we were approachable. We weren't like, like when you go see some concerts, you're like, we were like your next door neighbor, and it was just a magical time. And I think if you were to talk to each of us individually, we would all say that the reaction was just beyond our belief. And what's funny is that it helped our own private shows. We all became better because of Blue Collar, even just doing our own shows.
It is magnificent. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Engvall releases his very last comedy special. Here's Your Sign. It's finally time. My last show. It comes out just a few days from now on December 5th. The special was filmed on New Year's Eve 2022 in his hometown of Salt Lake City and will be available to stream or own on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, YouTube, Google Play, Dish, several cable providers worldwide. So you had a hell of a time trying to get it on somewhere, huh? There's only about 15, 20 places.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, this group comedy dynamic has been great for comedians. They put it out there, I grew up in the days that, good Lord knows, I wish we'd have had YouTube when I was coming up.
Yeah.
But that was a way to get your name out there fast, and still is. And when I was coming through, it was just, you had just banged it out on the road till somebody recognized you or gave you a break.
I think because Blue Collar Comedy Tour came out and just did so, but all forms of comedy had their 4 or 5 people they put together. There were all the 4 or 5 black comedians that did a special, just blew their careers up. You guys just did huge. I mean, I think it was very, very good. Women, they had a women's group that did very, very well. Who came up with the concept? Because it's a brilliant idea.
Well, I think if you were to look back historically, it was probably the kings of comedy.
Yeah.
That was really the first ones to do it, and we kind of went, well, they're pulling people from the West Coast and East Coast, and I remember the discussion vividly that we said, why don't we do something for the people in the Midwest who don't get a chance to go out and and I think people just fell in love with that idea, and the fact that you had 4 guys who were all at the peak of their careers pretty much, and just slamming it every night, and we did it for a long time, and it was crazy, and who knows why our tour took off more so than anybody else's. But it was something that was really fun. And it was also, when you're a comedian, and any comedian will tell you this, the road is a lonely place. Any entertainer will tell you the road is a lonely place. You think, oh, but you have your fans there every night. Yeah, but at the end of the night, they go home and you're stuck in a motel or a bus or whatever. So Blue Collar was great for all of us because I believe I'm going to say it. It helped us maintain our road sanity because you had people you could talk to.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I wish I could have turned around and had a band.
I suppose backing you up. Yeah. One of my favorite memories of that whole situation, because then Jeff Foxer, whether you come through, Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, of course, you would come through town on your own after a while. But when that very first day that you guys, that you, Bill, were talking about when you first came on, Larry the Cable Guy got booked to do one show in Minneapolis, right? He was doing it. And then he came on the show the next day, the morning show, the next day. 2 days later, I get a call from Larry the Cable Guy, and he said, I'm never talking to you again. I said, why? What did I do? And he goes, I just got booked to do 8 shows in Minneapolis. 8. I mean, you guys picked up work like there was it was wonderful to watch that whole thing. Isn't that great?
Well, comedy, like anything in life, comedy is cyclical. I mean, it got really hot, and then all of a sudden society changed a little bit, and all of a sudden it wasn't as much fun doing stand-up because you were, the audience felt like they were allowed to just kind of interrupt the show or do whatever excuse. They just sit and listen. And I hope that the pendulum starts swinging back towards that, of people just going and enjoying the show. because we need stand up. You need, I don't care what it's,
Yep.
you've got to laugh or you're going to go insane. And that was one of the reasons that kind of spawned my retirement. Is I got to the point where the travel was taking over the fun of being on stage, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna listen. Am I going to miss it? You bet I already do miss it. But I think it's important to know when it's time to hang it up, because I always said I never wanted to do this just for a check. That's not fair to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for whatever reason, karma, I got to achieve everything I wanted to in this business, and that's the way I wanted to go out.
Bill, I got to be honest with you. Now would be the best time for you guys to continue on, get back together, because we started the show this morning about 45 minutes ago, and I'm looking through the national news and the local news and all the rest of it. And I got to believe the word hate came up about 10 times in the articles I was looking at. We need you guys more than ever now. So you might want to, maybe you could get back together for just a year or two. And
I'll put a feeler out.
Put a feeler out. No, seriously, Bill, it's so, look, you guys, the reason you worked is because you clicked immediately with your audience. You knew who your audience was and you nailed it. And they love you to this day. People come up to me all the time and go, man, when you guys used to have those guys on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, I'll never forget it. And oh my God. It wasn't that they just liked it. You made their year. It was fantastic.
Well, that's very nice of you to say that. I think one of the reasons, it's funny is that people come up to me and 99.9% of the time, anybody who saw the show, they said that their favorite part of the show is when we were just all sitting on bar stools telling stories.
Yep.
And it was probably without Blue Collar, we wouldn't be talking right now, and I wouldn't be telling you it's my last show probably. But it's something that I will always be grateful for, that I was allowed for whatever reason to be a part of that tour that people will remember for a long, long time.
Well, I will never forget, and obviously I didn't go on stage with you guys or all the rest of it, but as you guys came through, year after year after year for a while there, just to be part of the beginning of that whole deal, just to be on the other side of the microphone, listening to you guys, making me laugh. I loved it. So thanks for including me in those feelings, not the show, but the feelings the show gave me. It was very, very important.
That's a great way of putting it. And that really means, I'm sure if I can speak for the other three guys, that really is what we were trying to achieve, is just making people feel better. When they left the show, that they go, their day had just got maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, no question. And that's by comparison. I will tell you, there was another comedian many, many years ago when I was a teenager that broke. I guess I was in my 20s by then, probably was 20 years old by then, but life was pretty rough. It was a situation, all these shootings going on. Martin Luther King had been killed a couple of years earlier, and the feeling in America was just really bad. And you want to talk comedy, it saved me along with music, because Richard Pryor made me laugh and made me feel good. What you guys do, you can't even explain how important it is, right?
No, and I agree. And thank you for putting us in that group, because Richard Pryor, they were huge influences on my career. And, that was, and I also was really fortunate that when I was coming up comedically, I got to learn from guys like Seinfeld and Leno and Shanley and all these guys. And so I got to learn from the best. And it was funny talking about Blue Collar. I also think being on the Blue Collar Tour made us better individual entertainers.
Yep.
Just because, that confidence and that people just want to laugh. And that was our thing, and that's why, that's why I'm retiring from the road, is like, and this special, Here's Your Sign, Is Finally Time, my last show, really kind of sums up the career and how much fun it was, and the audiences were, it was just a magical night. And that was the way I wanted to go out. That was the memory I wanted to go out on.
It is terrific. And I will thank you guys forever, because it was across the microphone, on the air, but to to feel that at the very beginning, I was just even involved in watching you guys. Thank you so much. You guys have been a great gift, and all four of you. And I'll close with this. This is how nice these guys were. I got a call from Ron White several years ago. He said, Tommy, you going on vacation? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah. You want to go on my jet? I'm like, oh my God, Ron. Ron's got a jet. I'll never forget it. But all of you, all four of you, Bill, thank you so much for including me in that stuff and for even mentioning it at the beginning of this show. You guys were amazing to me, and I will never forget it.
Tommy, we listen, I can only speak for myself, but I can never thank you enough for the support you've given my career. And I firmly believe that, well, without your input and playing my stuff, we wouldn't be talking right now.
Bill, we love you, and we hope to see you soon. You can still come vacation in Minneapolis, St. Paul, all right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listen, that's kind of the cool thing now is I'm able to see towns that I actually just flew over before. So.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Bill, Mr. Engvall, thank you so much. It is, here's your sign, finally time, my last show, December 5th. It's everywhere. You can, like I said, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, YouTube, Google Play, Dish, several cable providers. Bill Engvall, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Take care now.
I just love that guy. You guys have met Bill, haven't you?
I never in person. No.
Nope. I've seen so many of his specials and just so many clips of him, but yeah, never in person. But
these guys would come through town when they first came through town, and they all came in the studio. It was unbelievable, and then you watch their careers grow as a group. Blue collar comedy, and then you watched individually how they were doing things. Every one of these guys, Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, all of them, all four of them, they just said, hey, it was when it all started, because I don't know why they chose Minneapolis as one of their first venues, but it just blew up in town. Like I said, Larry the Cable Guy got booked to do 8 shows, 4 nights, 2 shows a night. Did that even happen anymore?
I don't even know. I mean,
you have to be a
like a megastar, but
you have to be Larry the Cable Guy, Dave Chappelle, Mike. But yeah, that happens. I would say most comedians, even smaller ones, it won't be all in one stretch, or not necessarily 8 shows, but it definitely multiple shows a week, multiple shows a night in the same venue, because they're trying to maximize the number of ticket sales.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, that's great. So they end up doing what, like 4 shows, something like that? 2 a night for a couple nights?
Yeah, I mean, with them, they would probably, they just pack 30,000 of their closest friends into the nearest stadium and do a show. But if they're doing, a smaller theater, I would assume they probably did multiple shows every night.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing. And once again, we're coming up on the holiday season, all the rest of it. And I hope I made it clear the gratitude that I have that a guy like Bill Engvall comes on and just talks about, my involvement in it, and not really involvement, but just knowing those guys all these years, and what a blessing it was. And I guess the reason I'm so sensitive about that is because we lost Louis Anderson, and we lost a number of really good, seriously. Greg Giraldo was amazing. Guys, look at the list of comedians that have died in the last 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. It's just so sad, don't you think?
Yeah, it is really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But they would come in, and I knew every one of them. That's the one thing with this job, when people do come in studio, that so many people, and and then when something happens, you take it very hard, because you consider them to be, if not a friend, certainly a very big acquaintance. But I'm so grateful for that kind of thing in my life, that a guy like Bill Engvall would even remember who the hell I am. But the guy reached out to me all the time. Hey, just want to check in, Tommy. How you doing?
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I've thought about that. Like you have had so many people on your show, and you know so many people. It feels like at a certain point, it's just like, week by week, somebody or have interacted with and have that connection with passes away. Does that?
Yep.
How much of a toll does that take? Because when I see a celebrity, it's like, if I appreciated their work, hey, that stinks. I don't really have a mourning period though. Do you have anything like that you have to go with?
Yeah, that part is very, obviously Louis Anderson was a dear friend of the family's. My mother adored Louis. That one was huge when he died just about, was it about a year ago now? Or was it during the holiday season?
God, it may have been longer.
Maybe. God, maybe that's the one thing. When somebody dies, that stuff flies by, and I don't count the months or the days. It's just all of a sudden, that was 3 years ago.
Oh, it's January 21st
of last year.
Yeah,
Or this
2022.
year. It was 2020. See, there you go. Perfect example. I thought it was last January.
That's why I was like, I think it's been over a year.
Oh, Jesus. See, that's the thing. But honest to God, Louis Anderson, all those people, but all guys in the, on these tours. And it was brilliant. I don't know whose idea it was in the first place to put on these comedy tours with 4 or 5 comedians coming out. That was a brilliant move because let's say you don't like one of them. Well, you're going to love the other 4 anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And those guys are all very, very pleasant. I mean, they were really, really nice about the whole situation. Most comedians are. I'm trying to think of a comedian that wasn't that great a guy. Do you guys remember any that came in that were not very pleasant? Because
Yeah, but it's hard to judge, Tom, because it was in the morning, and like a lot of them were just not morning people.
As being the person that was responsible for driving the comedians to the morning show, there wasn't a single comedian on the drive-in that was like, we really have to do this at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, my show just got done, my flight just landed. I would rather be asleep right now. And I was like, well,
that was your job to drive them in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's how I met Kevin.
I was picking that was like easily the most fun job I've ever had. You picking them up from the airport, like driving around like Rob Schneider for a weekend, or
AJ, you got to sit down with Tevin because he had like a whole shtick with like what he would say, and like, well, this now they'd pick him up at the same hotel, and you'd have to bring him to KQ, and he'd have like, all right, well, let's listen to the show that you're about to be on. All right, now this building over here is it like he'd have a whole tour guide.
Yeah, well, because you'd get one comedian. You'd either get the ones where they're like, I just want to go hotel, stage, airport, home. And then like Jay Farrell was like, all right, show's over. We're going out. Tevin, where are we going? Like, go home, get changed. Like, I'll come with you. It was,
Jay Farrell, he was so fun because I got him in over at First Avenue because Tevin's like, Brittany, can you get him to whatever he really wants to go see First Avenue? And he was hilarious.
Well, I think Vanessa Mitchell went to First Avenue too, and he thought, because he was a huge Prince fan, he thought that in the Purple Rain video where they're like running down the long hallway to the green room, he thought that scene was filmed in First Ave. So he whips out his phone, he's standing on stage, and I'm gonna go do the run, and he runs down the hall, and he almost runs into the wall, and he's like, where's the rest of the hallway? And
we were laughing so hard. It was so good.
We got to take a break because we got another guest coming up in just a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Bialke will join us just after this. We'll take a break. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre. Well, because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed and nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it and at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Should turn my mic on. That's what I should do. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Well, I hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately, For the rest of us, the Florida Keys Island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, and if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield, and he's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Lund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you financing. You need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys, new and existing homes for sale, and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com. You know, I realized I had a problem here because I was giving everybody the finger, but unless I point it right at the camera, you can't see it. So I had to do this. I had to go like this.
We can feel it.
Oh, you can feel it. What's happening? God, that made me happy. That really cheered me up talking to Bill Engvall. What a great guy.
Yeah, you guys have a real connection. It's pretty sweet.
It's just wonderful. That's the whole deal. Well, Tevin, have you become friends with a lot of guys you used to drive around, men and women comedians?
Yeah, I'd say there's quite a few that I kind of still keep in touch with. It's weird to see certain comedians that have just absolutely blown up since they were, fresh to the stage. Andrew Schultz, who I remember coming on to the House of Comedy, and he was not a nobody, but very young in comedy. And now he's traveling the world, selling out theaters in Australia and all. It's just absolutely nuts. And I'm like, and every once in a while he'll still, oh, hey, how's it going? And so it's always nice to feel a part of the kind of the movement.
Okay, I have to warn you guys, and it is a warning. It's not information. It's a warning. I just got a call last night from somebody who's going to be in town on the 15th and 16th of December. So he wants to come in and do the show, either one or both days. Paul Mercurio is coming to town, and you guys know Paul Mercurio, don't you?
Yeah.
Ate ice cream and drank champagne with.
Oh, that's right. You know him really well.
What a combo.
All right, AJ, you don't know who he is?
No, not really. I mean, maybe if I saw a picture of him, I would know.
He's phenomenal. Well, Brittany, I know you've been in studio with him before.
Yeah,
correct?
he's hilarious. He is a crackhead in the best way. Like, has my kind of energy where it's like, rah!
And he works with what's his face on the talk show. He's one of the producers of what's that guy?
Is it Colbert? No.
Yeah, it's Colbert. Yep, Stephen Colbert. Yep, it is.
He's got a lot of good stories.
The reason I couldn't remember his name is you ever talked to Stephen Colbert?
No.
Ego, party of one.
That's how most.
Yeah.
You gotta be to be a.
Really? Do you think that most of them are that way?
Most celebrities and talk show hosts, yeah.
Really? That's too bad.
It's just a matter of how in your face they are with it. Like, some can turn it off and be a normal human being, but most of them, I would say, are definitely egos.
Even the ones you think are nice are actually monsters. Because remember that expose about Jimmy Fallon that came out like a couple weeks ago? It kind of got smushed out, but yeah, that one was wild.
I would never guess he's a booze hound.
I wouldn't either. But now, once you say it, I go, I can see the high highs and the low lows.
That's what Kristen was saying. Is he glug a little bit?
I kind of wonder if Dave Bialke's got the same type of ego.
That's what, Dave's got a massive ego, but he's my friend anyway. I don't know why, but Ladies and gentlemen on the phone, he may have hung up, but on the phone with us.
Well, no, I got the big ego, so I'm just sitting there quietly like a church mouse, listening to you guys all talk when I'm supposed to be talking on the show.
You're like a church mouse, are you? How you doing, pal?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Things are going pretty well. We just had Bill Engvall on. He's a really good friend. I just love that guy.
Yeah.
Just love him.
Yeah, I was listening to him talk and listening to you guys all reminiscing about various comedians. And I've always wondered about comedians. I don't know any professional ones personally, but I was wondering, are these guys like hysterical when you're riding in the car, or do they just sit there and look down and they're only funny when they're in front of 1,000 people?
I
always wondered that.
I'll say generally they're funny, but they're a lot more reserved. It's definitely an on-off switch that gets flipped with most of them, where they're kind of quiet off stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I would think that they're performers. They're not necessarily just the class clown types. I imagine, but.
Yeah, and you get various degrees. I remember Steve-O was probably the most drastic difference from what he was on stage to how he was off of stage, where he is completely a 180.
Mm-hmm. How about Louis Anderson? I would have loved to spend just an evening chatting with him. He was one of my favorites. Like Tom says, I'm a little younger than Tom, but I still grew up with him, and he's always one of my favorites. He just had a different method than other comedians.
Oh, he definitely did. And he became a huge friend of my mother's, Catherine. My favorite, very quickly, Dave, my favorite Louis Anderson story is we're in Vegas doing a show with the Q. And, Louis used to live in Las Vegas. So we got to go by and pick up Louis. We got to go over to Rayo's Deli and, have a wonderful time, or Rayo's restaurant, I should say. Have a wonderful time. So we pull up, and here comes Louis out the front door. And Catherine gets out of the car and stares at him. Louis is wearing, and now Louis was not a small man. He was a rather large fella. And he's wearing an orange and blue shirt where the stripes are literally like 8 inches long, or deep, I should say, whatever, from top to bottom, about 8 inches. And Catherine walked up and stared at him. And Louis goes, "What?" She goes, "You know." He goes, "What? I don't know." "Oh, you don't like my shirt?" So he goes upstairs and changes his shirt. And he comes down a couple months later at Christmas. We received this huge box from Louis Anderson. We open it. It's that shirt stuffed like a doll.
That's so good.
That's wonderful.
Dave.
I remember one years ago on the morning show when you had Louis on, and he was talking about flying in, and you could tell this was not part of his routine, and unless maybe I never saw it on a routine. It seemed like it was just off the cuff when he made some comment. Flying in, I hate flying. He says, I'm flying, and the flight attendant, "Oh, do you need a seatbelt extender?" He says, No, I'll figure it. No, I think you need one. "Hey, lard ass down here in 22A needs a seat extender. Do you have an extra up?"
I just love Louis so much.
Yeah.
Oh God, was he funny? It's one of those things, you're in your truck and you're doubling over, that you're like a traffic hazard. You're laughing so hard.
Well, that's how he was all the time too. He never stopped. He was a very sweet guy. Like I said, my kids, my wife adored him. My mother was a great friend of his. Yeah, and I miss all those guys. There's no question that I do. And so when guys like Bill Engvall come along, just cheers me up for the rest of the day. So speaking of cheering people up, is it okay? Now we're in the snow season. You show up, Dave Bielke shows up. Now we're in the snow season. A lot more injuries in the snow season, I would guess.
Well, I'd say yes. A lot of slip and falls. A lot also workers. I'm just in my house. I got some workers showing up here, and when you're working out in the cold, you're not as aware. You're kind of things that just happen because of the cold that otherwise wouldn't happen when you're not in those conditions. So I mean, people not just slip and falls, but they try to get something done quicker, so they pull too hard and they hurt their shoulder and that type of thing. So that all happens. So it certainly is a more significant time for work injuries, and you get injured at work. Sometimes the insurance company pays everything. Other times they deny things, or they start paying down the road. They deny. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total. Well, it's a great thing that you do it. Somebody certainly has, because I got to believe, Dave, and I've never asked you this question before, but I got to believe not that long, maybe 40, 50 years ago, something like that. You could fell at work, got hurt at work, tough. They didn't care.
No, the work comp statute has been around for a little over 100 years, but it certainly was in the days of yore. It was like, another work injury for Fred over here. Okay, geez, Fred, you're costing us a little bit of money. I don't think that was a work injury. That type of thing. So
right.
that really did happen. Still happens all the time. I hear it from my clients, but I think that has gotten better. But it certainly, in the past was very prevalent, and they got stronger laws, and they said, no, we're going to enforce these. But insurance companies, not just employers, but the insurance companies, they're all, doing what they can to pay out less than they would otherwise want to pay out. So.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So are you busy this time of year? I would imagine. We talked about that before, I know.
Yeah, except in workers' compensation, the busy time kind of comes a little later. There's always a bit of a lag time. So that's, I get the claims later when the insurance company, they say, hey, we're tired of paying you benefits. We're going to send you to our doctor, that type of thing. So it's usually a bit of a lag time before they see me.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Well, we're going to talk to you a couple of times more before the Christmas season, I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Works
all
for
right.
me. Dave Bialke, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Take care, all of you.
We'll talk soon. Dave Bialke, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone joining us now live. Brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Hurt at work. Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp, injury claims, and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Tell them Tom sent you. What do you think of that action?
I love it.
Indeed. At least you responded. Thank you so much. The two guys didn't. They were very rude.
They're dead to us. We
Brittany
hate 'em.
Brittany speaks for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Her word is final.
We gotta do something about it.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it all makes sense. You got to do what you got to do, right?
Got to do what you got to do.
Man kills his girlfriend because voices told him that she was a witch.
Oh, I read this story. Oh.
I was going to ask you about that. Did you read the story? Because
it's a rough one.
Yeah.
Holy. So this guy literally thought that his girlfriend was a witch.
Been there.
How many times, though, is our question.
Thank God they didn't have a tendency to stab, but yeah.
No tendency to stab. This is not her picture, is it?
I know.
Did you send me the one with the picture?
Yeah, she's really sweet looking.
Oh, she's a sweet looking little kid, for Christ. Oh, man.
What?
Are we? That's the weird thing about this story is they link a video at the top and it's
that's not. I was
it's not.
That's not them.
Because if you scroll down, you see him, and there is no way that's her. If that's him.
Okay, well, but yeah, why would they do that though?
Although the girl that you're seeing at the top, she was accused of like sexually assaulting a young boy because she was a social worker. I've seen her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, why are they need to figure out what's going on because that's insane that they posted that video under that headline.
And it's right on top of the text, so it looks like it's attached to the text.
I literally saw that picture, almost cried this morning, and then was like, I can't read much more of this story.
Oh, by the way, I have to agree with Tevin. I just saw the guy's picture.
Yeah.
Ain't no way she's with him. I did
a little investigative journalism here on the show.
Exactly.
Little PI Pittman.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a hideous pig this man is. A man from Maine accused of stabbing a woman to death told police he did it because he believed she was a witch and that demons told him to attack her. Robert McClure, 71, told officers that guy's only 71. He looks like he's about 90.
Oh, yeah. He looks 104.
Yes, I would agree with you. Not 90, 104. There's no question about it. He told officers voices in his head on November 22nd. But boy, November 22nd is a tough row to hoe, isn't it? That day must be a bitch for most people. Wasn't that the day that Kennedy was killed?
Was it?
It was November 22nd, wasn't it? I think. You can look it up. He stabbed Christine Miller, 64, multiple times inside her apartment at the Senior Living Riverland. What the hell's a 64-year-old doing in senior living?
Well, maybe it's a little rough 64 years.
You think it might be
want to be closer to him? Yeah.
Oh, maybe. That might be what it was. That's true. Anyway, he stabbed her in her apartment at the Senior Living River Landing apartment complex in Topsom. Police say McClure was found holding a cloth to Miller's neck when authorities responded to call later at the day of the complex. That was around 9:30. Then I did scroll down. There's a picture of Robert McClure. He doesn't look happy in that picture. I got to be honest with you.
No, not very cheerful.
No, he's being told in his head that everybody that's taking his picture right now is a witch.
They're a witch, absolutely.
Is being a witch so bad? Like, if somebody told me Kevin's a witch, I'd be like, all right.
Also, you're not supposed to stab the witches. You tie rocks to their ankles and you throw them in the lake. And then if they drown,
every like witch horror movie I've seen, it's like you got to burn them at the stake or something, not just stab them.
Stab witches.
You guys ever watch Monty Python?
Yeah.
Back in the day. There was a scene where this woman was accused of being a witch in Massachusetts, or I suppose this one was in England because it was a British show.
Mm-hmm.
But she's sitting there and they say, what we're going to do is put you in a seat. And in the other seat, we're going to put a duck. And if the duck drops to the bottom and you rise to the top, it means you're a witch. So she's like, no big deal. I mean, she's a full-grown woman and there's a little duck. And they put the duck on the other side. And she goes right to the top of the tree, and they show her picture, and she goes, shit. I weigh less than a duck, which means I'm a witch, apparently.
I'd pass that test every single time.
That you'd go right to the top?
No, reverse.
Oh, you drop to the bottom. You'd be the witch.
No, I'd be the fat human.
A fat human?
Right, I don't think you have to be a witch to weigh more than a duck.
Thank you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I don't know if you got a point. Yes, tub of lard over here. What did you come up with that one?
No, I just mean like if it was a matter of weighing when she was weighed less than a duck, I don't have to worry about that. I will weigh more than a duck every time.
What are you going to do? Well, I kind of ruined that story, so let's move on to the next one. What do you say? Oh, actually, we got to take a break here, don't we?
Yeah.
We absolutely do. We'll be right back in a couple minutes, ladies and gentlemen. More of the show coming up next. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows, the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get the 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long either. Enter promo code TOM for the special and many more. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. Someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just looking at some stories from today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand. See, this has happened quite often. I don't know why. Woman sues New York-based eatery chain saying salad came with a finger in it.
Ugh.
How do you not see a finger in a salad you're bringing over to someone?
When like, whose?
And whose is it? It's exactly right.
Yeah, how does somebody not know, hey, we're missing a finger here? I was dicing up cucumbers and all of a sudden I just, there's my pinky.
My guess is a worker that was picking the lettuce from a field or somebody boxing it up. And then as you get a mixed greens type of thing, it gets mixed in there. So nobody at the restaurant, I would assume, is missing a finger without knowing it.
It's bringing a whole new meaning to mixed greens.
Yeah.
Here's the situation though.
Okay.
You'd have to go through 4 different people who didn't notice that finger. That's kind of a problem.
That's a problem.
I would think don't they go through it and look to make sure there's not some dirt in the lettuce, or they go through the lettuce and look at it all, don't they?
I mean, you put so essentially you get the lettuce in a bag, you open the bag, you'll more or less dump it into a, they have these orange tubs that you spin and it washes the lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take clumps. So I could see it's not unfathomable to, as you're grabbing handfuls, you're not going through each individual leaf. As you're grabbing handfuls, that there's something in there.
Now, I don't know how the finger got in there, but maybe if I read the story, it could tell us this. According to the suit, a manager at the restaurant accidentally severed a piece of her. Oh, it's at the restaurant.
Oh.
Now, see, this is what I'm saying. How does that even happen? If you cut your finger off and you just go, hey, look, I cut. Or if you're the manager, you go, wait a minute, you're missing a finger. I better go check it out and see where it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Also,
right. Because wherever you cut your finger, everything that's in that area immediately is in the garbage. It's not like you just picked the tip of the finger out and you thought you got all the chunks.
Yeah. And I got to believe your finger gets cut off. It bleeds like a sumbitch.
I would think.
So how as a manager, how do you not go over, I better find this finger? And as Devin said, maybe I should toss out that lettuce. What do you say?
Also, you got to grab it. Some people can reattach it. So you think everyone would be looking for it, because I'm hoping she was done with her shift at that point. I hope that is the end. I don't know how dedicated of an employee she is.
Okay, I'm going to shift for just a second because I need your opinion on how this happened, because I have no idea, and then we'll get back to this story.
Mm-hmm.
What you just brought up. There was a story a couple of nights ago, and I tried to do as much research on it as I could. A man had the bottom of his leg cut off from below the knee down, or above the knee down.
Oh, wow.
He had his leg cut off. He brings the leg into the hospital. They reattach it and it works. I've never heard of that before.
I've never heard that with a limb. Fingers, they sometimes takes, but a lot of times doesn't. It depends on the time.
The guy was saying, he's walking around going, I know nobody believes me, but I can show you the scar. My leg was cut off above it was a guy in Canada, as a matter of fact. It happened in Canada. But how the hell that's going to have to be one great doctor. Attach all those different elements involved.
It's so intricate. It blows my mind.
My thing there is, if it's got, isn't there a major artery that runs down your thigh?
Yep. Your femoral artery, yeah.
Yeah. So if that got cut there, how did he not die of bleeding out before?
Exactly.
Forget the leg. How did he just not die? That's insane to me.
And I watched the video with the guy. The guy's walking around and he doesn't even limp. Do you think it was a Halloween costume? Do you think he's making it up?
I don't know. It always blows my mind where we're at with technology. They're talking about using pig hearts on people. That's wild.
The pig hearts are working. I mean, some of the people are dying, yes, but they're I mean, just to even
Sorry.
What happens?
Casualness of Devin.
Okay, but like if you told me we're gonna give somebody a pig heart, I'm gonna say you ain't even gonna get one beat of breath out of that pig heart before the person dies, and people are living, weeks, months before it, something goes wrong. So I mean, like that's a miracle. It's amazing.
I think it's wonderful. What's that?
People die.
The casualness of and people are living. I mean, well, some are dying, but for the most part,
right, we're not batting 1,000. Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the finger, giving your salad, giving you the finger, or whatever the hell this is. According to the suit, a manager at the restaurant accidentally severed a piece of her left pointer finger while chopping arugula, and the customer realized while eating her salad that she was chewing on a portion of a human finger that had been mixed in. AJ's gonna vomit.
Well, I'm just thinking, there's so much here that is a red flag of like your pointer finger. I see that every time I move my hand. Like, how do you not feel that?
I would have to agree with you.
I don't understand.
I will say this though. I think it was a little misleading when they say a finger was in there because it sounds like a chunk of skin was in there.
You're right.
Well, we'll find out. A customer has filed a lawsuit against the fast casual chain Chopped, CHOPT, over a salad she says contained a piece of a manager's finger. So it does say a piece of the finger, not the finger. That's true. A lawsuit filed Monday by Allison Cozy. Are you dating Cozy? Ah?
Yeah.
What do you think of that name? Greenwich, Connecticut, alleges she thought a salad at the Chopped location in Mount Kisco, New York on April 7th, 2023. Realized while eating that it was she was chewing on a portion of a human finger that had been mixed into and made a part of the salad. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Brittany. The fact that it's a chunk of meat from the finger.
Yeah, I think it's like a big skin area. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is. Would you sue, Tom? That's where I want to know. Would you sue?
Yes, absolutely. I own this place now. Like I ordered this with no chicken, and then it comes out with a human finger in it. I
don't think I would sue. I don't know. It just seems like
you ate and swallowed that.
Oh,
it's protein.
Oh, and I'm casual about somebody dying, but you're just out here Jeffrey Dahmering your way through salads.
I don't know if the rest of us attacked you. It was only AJ that went after.
I'm talking about Brittany.
She didn't go after you, did she?
Tom, would you sue?
No.
I don't think I would. I think I would be like, this is disgusting. You're disgusting. I hate you. And I would live my life.
I probably would never eat there again.
Same.
Yeah.
There's got to be some type of reimbursement. I feel like there's an imaginary contract out there that when you walk into a restaurant, they're going to feed you food and not anything off a human body. So
true.
But here's the thing. I don't know if I would have ever discovered it was a finger. I would have been like, ew, there's something in my salad and throwing it out. I don't know if I would have had the follow through in my life currently to be like, what is this? Tell me what this is.
Oh, but right now, I'm saying right now, if you knew it was a finger that you were chewing on, you spit out because it was tough, and now you just continue living your life, you wouldn't be like, hey.
Yeah. I honestly think I would. I literally, I don't think like a glimpse into my life is like, I am not the type to be like, I want to follow up. I want to do some paperwork. I don't think I would. I don't think Tom would either.
Here's one reason I wouldn't, because what the woman who was chewing on the finger piece did, as usual, and this is exactly the reason I probably wouldn't sue, because people get so psychotic. Look, I understand you shouldn't have done what you did, but when people sue, they get so psychotic about it. Here's an example. Cozy said that was the woman whose finger she was chewing on the finger.
Yeah.
Cozy said in the lawsuit that she suffered injuries, including shock, panic attacks, migraine, cognitive impairment, nausea, dizziness, neck and shoulder pain as a result of eating that little. She didn't even eat it. She spit it out, right?
Yeah.
So that's excessive.
Yeah, but you have to. You can't just say, give me money because I ate a finger. Like, you have to make a claim about something. And I don't think any of that would hold true for me. I don't think I would be that traumatized by it, to be very honest. I'd be like, gross. And we'd probably laugh about it every year during Christmas. I don't know why.
By the way, she is seeking unspecified monetary damages.
See?
So how much would she sue for? Would you ask for like 25 grand or something? How much? Do you have any idea?
Oh God. I had a friend and this is legit, she was eating at a big chain restaurant and there was glass in her food. She was a teenager, and it messed up her body quite a bit, and they got money from that to pay off the medical bills. But she was always embarrassed by it because, you know, it was during like the McDonald's coffee thing, which is also one of those weird things that's embellished, because actually when you hear the story, you go, that's insane that woman burned, like that the coffee was that hot. It's one of those things where she doesn't even like people to know that happened, because it always sounds like this lady who was like, my neck and back hurt from chewing on somebody's skin.
No, that didn't walk. She ate glass.
I know.
People don't. You're not supposed to do that.
No, you're not. I don't think you are.
You're also not supposed to eat a human finger.
We eat other animals' fingies.
Okay, which animal has a finger? That's what I want to know.
Chicken fingers, good point.
Chicken
fingers. I forgot chicken fingers.
Thanks, AJ. I almost look like an idiot without you.
Sorry, baby. Right on the kids menu, no matter where you go.
I forgot about chicken fingers. I never did understand. The first time I saw it, I was like, what? Oh, yes, we have chicken fingers at KFC. I'm like, chicken fingers?
I would like those poultry digits, please.
Yes, bring those out. It'll be magnificent. Did you basketball fans know that Mark Cuban is selling the majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks?
I heard about that last night.
So it was just announced yesterday, correct?
Yeah, late last night.
This is a guy. Didn't he sell broadcast.com for like hundreds of millions of dollars, and the thing was worthless?
The part about this is it's a weird setup because he's selling a majority stake, but he is still somehow retaining like full ownership control and has the final decision on major changes. But then he also, in the past couple of days, announced that he will be leaving Shark Tank. So I know we joked about it and talked about it a little bit, a week or two ago, about The Rock possibly running for office. But people are saying, is Mark Cuban about to make a run for president here?
Well, he was rumored to his name was getting thrown around with Oprah's back when Trump first got elected as who could be our next president. But yeah, I don't think he's not going to run for president. Nobody's voting for Mark Cuban.
I think he just wants to be a normal guy, hang out with his family, and maybe not have to be on Kevin O'Leary's show every day.
Now, I got to be honest with you. I had no idea that show was even still on the air. I had no clue.
Shark Tank?
Yeah. I used to watch it when it first started. I watched it for a couple of seasons. It was the same BS every night and was just cocky, very rich people. And I'm like, So that thing has been on all these years, huh?
Yeah. The optics of that show aren't great because you get these people that have dedicated their whole entire lives to like making this product, and then they'll be like, not really for me. And like, what's to stop them now from just having more money than you and doing it on your own without you if you don't have all of your correct patents and stuff in place?
There's a great clip of that show that somebody like it's fake and it's edited together, but it's this like 14-year-old, 13-year-old kid comes on with this like invention, and it's actually pretty spiffy, but it's like, hi, I'm Jason and I'm 14 and I hear, and it just cuts to like Mark Cuban. He goes, I'm out. But they edit it so it's like
just vicious,
and they're just like, this is maybe the worst idea of it. Like it's not real, but it's just so funny to see guys, billionaires, tearing into this little kid.
Yeah. Well, he did an interview, Mark Cuban did not too long ago, where somebody asked him kind of about like how he listens to pitches on Shark Tank, and he was like, the longer the backstory, the less likely I am to invest, because if you have to go through like, I started this company from my garage and did this and did this, that's not what I'm here to hear about. Like, I want to hear about your products. If you're more selling the backstory than the actual product, he's like,
yeah. I think he said he's down lifetime from investments on that show too.
Well, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Done what?
Like, he is, for the amount of money that he's put in and like invested, he is down negative.
Like, he's lost money being on the show.
He's lost a large amount of money in investments on the show. Yeah, he had, for the amount of winners, it does not even make up close to the amount of losers.
Because for the show to work, even if you had brought in 100 people and heard 100 pitches and you thought they all sucked, you still have to say yes to somebody.
Yeah,
the show's dead.
Like technically, like if you could just say no, I could be a shark on that tank, and every time I'm out. I only have $40 in my checkbook, so I'm out.
Have you guys watched the show recently?
No.
I haven't either.
I've seen I've seen a little bit. It's funny. It's like whenever anyone has live TV and Shark Tank's on, I'll watch it. Like, it's one of those things that you walk by and you go, all right, I'll watch this. I think last time I watched a lot of it, I guess was a long time ago. I was house sitting for Alex and they had that TV in the living room. So it was a long time ago.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'll watch this. You know, like when you don't know how somebody's TV works or how to watch channels and finally something decent comes on, you're like, this is what I'm going to watch. It's fun. It's always good. It's good to put on in front of a lot of people because you don't need to hear everything and you can talk and everyone can get into it.
It's funny that you bring up like just watching whatever somebody puts on in front of you. I have to apologize to AJ for any Survivor slander because I was hanging out with my brother and his little son yesterday and they had Survivor on TV. It was like season 25 or something like that.
Jesus.
And well, first of all, I didn't realize there was 45 seasons that this show has been on now. But anyway, it's not that bad.
Yes.
It's not that bad.
This
I
season,
take back all the negative things I said about it.
This season was so bad to start. The first like 3 or 4 people that like got voted out. Spoiler alert, but you know we're already 10 episodes in. Two of them quit, and one of them was like, "I want you to vote me out. I just don't want to be here anymore." It's like because they needed a cigarette. And I was like, "You." There's a whole voting process, just whatever. The last couple of weeks, and I'm excited for tonight's episode. Like, people are making moves. Like, legitimately, people are playing Survivor how I have wanted them to since their break from COVID, and it's been such good TV.
Well, I'm about 20 seasons behind you, so it's going to take me a little while to get caught up. But from what I remember as a kid, I always thought it was much more of dire. Like, people were in the wilderness, wild animals. They're really just kind of hanging out on a beach with a campfire and enough stuff to survive so they can go play games. But I think it's still a good show.
Yeah, they used to do like destinations like Fiji and like whatever. Now they're just set. It's only on Fiji, so there's not like China and there's not, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little different in this. But it used to be like physical, and they like people were getting like knocked out during challenges, or people like passing out from fainting and just falling like 5 feet off of a pedestal and like medical get in here. And then Jeff Probst has been just a tremendous host. He's awesome.
45 seasons. Is that real?
Yes, but it's 2 seasons every year. So in reality, it's like it's only been like 20 or it'd be
like 30 or whatever, 22 years or something like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Honest to God, I have not watched that show. What's the one guy's name? The guy from New York. He's a big investor. You can see him all the time on television still. I know that. I can't remember his name. It's been so long since I watched that show. I can't remember anybody's name from that show.
Talking about Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
Shark Tank, yeah.
Okay.
Kevin O'Leary is like the Mr.
Kevin O'Leary, that's the guy who saw that.
The thing I found out, he's Canadian.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that.
I don't know why all of us know a lot about him, but at Mr. Wonderful, I feel like I know a bunch of random facts about him.
Well, he's got a bunch.
I thought it was. What's his nickname? I thought it was Fabulous. Or was it
No, Mr. Wonder, isn't it?
It doesn't matter. Whatever adjective.
It does not matter. There's no question about that. But I watched it for a couple of seasons and went, this show is horrendous. I hated it. It's like, it seemed very fake to me, you know, and I'm not saying it was, but it seemed like it was to me. I know that. But in any case, what are you going to do? Yeah. I remember, I think the last time I ever watched it, back in the days, traveled to San Antonio. But you guys ever been to San Antonio, Texas?
I love San Antonio.
Phenomenal.
I love it. I was did medic training there for about 4 months. Yeah.
Phenomenal place. I did love the fact that the Alamo is about the size of my garage, but
yeah, we walked by the Alamo about 40 times. So somebody was like, "Remember it?" And I was like, "That's it? I'll never remember that."
It's not very now. Some of it has to be gone because it had to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I literally was like, "This is what." Then I had a friend fall into the Riverwalk twice, but again, I was there with the Army, so.
The friend I was with down there back in the day, was he a really great? He was a very nice man too. David, he was a center for the San Antonio Spurs. What was
David Robinson?
David Robinson.
Yeah.
No.
You ever met him?
No, I've never met David Robinson.
I did. I meet all these people, and I assume that everybody meets a lot of people. What the hell do I know?
Not relatable. No.
Well, it's relatable for this reason. No. Oh, not related. You're going to tell me what's relatable.
No, I'm saying like you've lived a very cool life of meeting people. We cannot relate to like when you're like, hey, have you ever talked to? We're like, no, sorry, that's not a universal
Might have to get
experience.
off your ass and make a dent. You know,
You've
I'm
had lunch
trying.
with the president. This is not.
I
the
know.
normal, like,
AJ, all you got to do is make the reservation. And
that's
you can
true.
have
That's
lunch
true.
with the
Okay,
president
that's on
too.
me. I apologize.
you could have lunch with Biden today. There's no question about it. But the reason I bring him up, David Robinson, very, very pleasant man. But it was funny because we're going to this compound where he lives, and we drive up to the gate at the bottom of the hill, and we ring it, and they open the gate, and we drive about halfway up the hill, and there's another gate. So we buzz him again, and he lets us in. We get to the very top. You can see the house. There's another gate.
No way.
3 gates.
Nobody needs that much protection. Nobody needs that.
Also, if you're getting through one gate, I feel like you have the gate thing figured out. So you're
Yeah.
getting through all the gates. Like it's like,
yeah,
I understand. I could. He has 3 gates, or he did. I don't know if he still lives there. It was many, many years ago. But I thought he had 3 gates to get in, and you couldn't even see his house from the bottom of the hill. So very cool guy, though. He's a very, very pleasant man. I only met him that one time, very briefly, but he's a very pleasant guy, and had a very. I would say if you put the 4 of us together, he had a much nicer house than all 4 of us put together. You know what I mean?
probably.
You thinking?
That's our 3 cardboard boxes in your house.
3 cardboard boxes.
Take our houses out and just put yours. You know, David Robinson almost died as an infant.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, his parents were in the military, and he was on a ship, and he was, asleep in his crib, and the boat kind of rocked, and he rolled over in between the wall and the mattress, and I think it was his mom or dad, one of the two, came in just to kind of check on him because they hadn't like heard him make any noise, and he was like turning blue in the face because he was suffocating, and they picked him up. Obviously, he survived.
And he was just a little like 5-6 month old baby, something like that.
Yep.
Is he called the Admiral because his parents were in the Navy?
Yes, his dad was in the Navy, I believe, and then he went to Navy.
Oh,
and
that
was
makes
in
that.
the
Oh,
Navy.
that's right.
All right.
Yep. Yep, I do remember he went to Navy. Now how old is he now? He's in his 50s, something like that.
He's got older than that, probably in his mid.
Oh, you
late
think older?
60s.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right. But he was one hell of a player. I do remember watching him back in the day.
Oh,
because I used to watch a lot of the NBA back in the day when the Timberwolves first started, and then they pissed me off to no end. And to this day, they still haven't won a damn thing. So they got to get going. You said this year, though, they're looking plenty good.
Yeah, Tevin, you promised us.
This year, Tevin Pittman, promise that the Minnesota Timberwolves will win the NBA championship
in season.
This year.
Maybe.
This year, baby. That's a hell of a demand right there.
Can't
Oh,
wait to party when that happens.
We're gonna riot in downtown Minneapolis.
Eden Prairie in the sack. We're gonna lose it in the sack.
Brittany's gonna go do graffiti all over the light rail station in Eden Prairie.
Indeed. I was trying to think of something when you guys just brought that up. I can't remember what the hell I was thinking of. It was something I'd like to look up and see if it's a possibility. But what the hell were you guys talking about?
Well, you told us about the 3
The 3 gates.
The 3
And then you were talking
gates,
about
yeah.
something else.
And then we went on a tangent about him and how he'd almost died as a baby.
Yeah, there was something else to make a connection.
Military.
And then the Timberwolves have always let you down, and they've never won anything. But Tevin promised that this is absolutely 100% the year they do it.
He promised. He said that we can have all of his belongings if they don't.
Yes. Well, so you're gonna get this pen, and a pad of paper.
And I want that pen. It's heavy.
Okay, I'm going to piss you guys off because I was alive the last time the
Lakers,
Minneapolis Lakers. I still don't understand the Los Angeles Lakers. There's one lame lake there. They're not the Lakers.
Boo.
The alliteration.
Oh, is that what it is? So in any case, we'll look up and see, if you would, for me, one of you quickly, how many championships the Minneapolis Lakers won, because I think it was like 4 or 5. It was a lot. But I was a little single-digit boy back then, so I think they moved in 60, didn't they? Something like that. They moved to LA in 1960s. I think right around that period. Don't all you jump on looking it up. Around,
AJ's looking it up. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh,
what's that?
He's trying to look it up. I think he's
They
trying
were
to.
here from 1950 to 1960. They made the playoffs 10 times in 11 seasons and won 4 championships.
4.
And then they went to LA and won.
I have a bone to pick with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
Because, for instance, when the Milwaukee Braves won a World Series, the Atlanta Braves do not claim that. Like, that's not them. It was won in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why do the Los Angeles Lakers get to claim the 4 championships that the Minneapolis Lakers won and just like add that onto their total? That's
Hell no. Hell no.
Those belong to the city of Minneapolis.
Because AJ, if you owned the Minnesota Wild, and then somebody was like, "Hey, I have this opportunity. You're going to move to Oregon, and you're taking the team with you." And you take the same team, an organization, and you move it out there. Do you still take those championships with you?
They belong to the city.
Okay,
belong to the city.
I love
but
it.
your franchise still won them.
If the St. Louis Rams won a Super Bowl, now the Los Angeles Rams, they don't get to claim that Super Bowl.
Yeah. I agree with AJ.
It's the same ownership group. The fans, the LA fans shouldn't be like, yes, you remember that championship we won way back when? No, that's St. Louis. But the team itself can still celebrate those.
But it was not the same ownership. He sold the team to Los Angeles.
Yeah, baby.
But it's still the team.
Nope.
In the history of the team, it's still their championship.
No, my issue is they claim to have what, like 14, 15, 16, whatever. Take off 4 of those.
Yeah.
You got more than enough. You don't need the 4 for
So then who celebrates those 4 championships?
We do.
Tom.
The Timberwolves? Do the
Tom
Timberwolves
does.
have?
No. The Timberwolves.
See, that's
the people
you
of
can't have it both
Minneapolis-
ways.
The
You
people
can't
of
have it both
Minneapolis
ways.
do.
Well, the Minneapolis, our team now is the Timberwolves, so the Timberwolves should hang those 4 banners.
No.
Listen.
According to your logic.
No,
Yeah.
not according to different franchises.
No,
different franchises.
The real championship is the friends we made along the way.
So thank you
Gosh,
for
I'm
that.
just glad both teams had fun. Me too.
So by that thinking, would I have to take credit for the 2 share they have now where I used to work?
No. You dropped that.
What?
You took the Tom Barnard show. You took the Tom Barnard show with you. It'd be like if they were like they still celebrated, right?
They do celebrate.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, they a lot of love. That's all I have to say. But in any case, oh God, we better take a break here. We're a little late getting into the break, but not bad actually. That was pretty good timing. We shall take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes. Right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us. Our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Look at that. JB gets off 10 minutes even earlier now. What the hell is that? That's not fair.
You mean AJ?
What did I say, JB?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
you
both
did.
initials.
I miss JB. That's why.
Me too.
JB did come to my house at Christmas. Not the house, but he met us at a place on my birthday. It was very nice. JB and I are still very good friends. I have a question for you. Because you guys were talking about this earlier with all this, that, and the other thing. Were you guys the ones that mentioned yesterday on the show that they want to get away from saying Merry Christmas? Was that you guys that mentioned it? It might have been on the or was it on the family, Andy, maybe?
Maybe. I don't think so.
I don't know, but that's been a trend for a while.
Absolutely.
But I have a question, because they say, well, I don't want to hear Merry Christmas anymore. I think everyone should say Happy Holidays, right? That's their argument.
I also think there's more backlash to the backlash than the actual backlash. Like, this is one of those examples that I don't think in the real world, if you say Merry Christmas to somebody and they're celebrate a different thing, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's corporate speak that everyone hates.
Are you telling me the newspapers and television are lying to us?
I would never assume that.
Because here's what I'm wondering. Here's why it's a stupid argument to me. I don't want you saying Merry Christmas. I want you saying Happy Holidays. Do they not know that holiday means holy day? It's the same thing.
Yeah, I have that thing where sometimes I'll say Merry Christmas and I'll have that thought of being like, well, what if they don't? And then I'll say, and Happy Holidays. Like, just my own weird social anxiety of not wanting, like, to make sure I'm inclusive. But if somebody came up to me and said Happy Hanukkah, I'd say thanks. I will enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, that's the main point. Is no matter what you say to me, I'm going thanks. You too, and I'm keeping it pushing. And I'm not. And I want to know who these people are that are just going around saying Merry Christmas to strangers all the time. Like,
I do.
People do it.
Like, to everybody you meet in December.
Not everybody.
Like, this time of year, I also, like, on Thanksgiving especially, like, I always thank people for working on the holidays because we were traveling and we went to a gas station and I said, thanks so much for working on Thanksgiving. Or, like, I went and mailed something and I said Happy Holidays to those people because they are working their ass off. So I say a lot to strangers, Happy Holidays.
Okay. Why would you think that somebody would object to Merry Christmas anyway? What? Look, the point you just brought up, I have many friends of the Jewish persuasion.
Yeah.
So I tell them Happy Hanukkah all the time. Merry Christmas, Happy whatever, Kwanzaa, whatever you got, it makes you happy. I'm happy for you. Right?
Well, we have Indian neighbors right up to our backyard and they celebrate Diwali.
Diwali, yeah, there you go.
And they give us a gift every year. And I try to remember. I usually do it like 2 weeks after because I always forget. But they always give us a gift on their holiday because they just want to be inclusive. Like, I think that's so sweet. And, like, I try to give them a gift during, like, after because I'm a hot mess, but to just say Happy Holidays.
What the problem is, I talked to your neighbors and they said the gift they want is for you to move out of the neighborhood.
I knew you were going to say that.
Take that home, mister. What a reaction from the men again. You guys need to get off your computers. You stare at your computers way too much.
Yeah, you
literally my job.
Way too much.
It's literally my
there.
job.
You do have to do that. It's true. But yeah, I've often wondered about that. So a couple of words of happiness pisses you off. That makes no sense. If somebody says Happy Hanukkah to me, I go, well, thank you.
Well, like I said, it's corporate.
It is, isn't it?
That no one actually likes.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess if to play devil's advocate, if somebody all day, every day from December since Thanksgiving was over till Christmas was like Happy Kwanzaa, and you're like, I don't celebrate Kwanzaa. Like, I could see how that gets a little annoying. Yeah. So like, say Happy Holidays, and it's if you annoy somebody 1% less, who cares?
How about you go F off? Does that be better?
Happy Wednesday, you little bitch.
See, I like that one. That'd be a good one. Works for me. Yeah, I don't know why people get so hung up on words, things like that. Whatever you celebrate, good for you. You got your family together, you don't, whatever. I'm happy. Whatever is good for you is good for me. As long as you don't have to go out and kill children, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I love not killing children. That's like my favorite thing about people is when they don't kill children.
Yeah.
My favorite hobby.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and go, don't kill children.
Don't kill children.
All day.
All
right. A recent poll found which holiday classic is America's favorite to rewatch every year. 10 popular Christmas movies were listed, and people were asked to select which ones they'd watch every year. Do you guys have any idea what the number one would be?
I want to say
Home Alone, Christmas
Elf.
Story.
Home Alone's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Okay, you think of the Christmas Story and Home Alone?
An Elf.
Yep.
And
And
Elf.
that animated snowman movie. You know what I'm talking about? Frosty? Yeah, him.
Or
yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
There we go.
You guys are missing a huge one here.
White Christmas.
There's a Minnesota boy on top of it.
What?
You're missing.
Christmas Story?
Nope.
Doesn't that have ties to Minnesota somehow?
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, okay, we'll do the top 10 and we'll get to the one that we haven't mentioned. Number 10, I don't really consider. I know that Die Hard took place at Christmas.
Yeah,
but
that's
you consider that a Christmas.
It's one of those age-old debates that'll never be settled.
I also don't want to watch Die Hard every year, and I don't care who comes for me. It's not that great of a movie.
People just put it
fine.
on these lists so that way they can argue.
100%.
Yeah, just open your door and go, "Welcome to the party, pal," and then just close the door. I love that. But actually, that is a damn good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but that was a good movie.
I
It's
watched it for
fine.
the first time 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I had never seen it before.
Did you like it?
I mean, it's good for what it is. Guy runs around shooting people,
Yeah.
Yeah, like usual.
Merry
That's-
Christmas.
Exactly.
Okay, number 10 is Die Hard. Number 9 is Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh,
I
that's
last watched that when I was probably 6 years old.
Yeah, probably true. Number 8 is the Santa Claus with an E at the end.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, definitely that one.
Yep, it's true. Now, this one's definitely part of it. Catherine and I do watch this one every year. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah.
Great movie. It's a really, really good movie. Number 6, we just watched this one a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact, Christmas Vacation.
Oh, that's so good. I
I'm
wonder,
sorry. Chevy Chase kills it in that movie. He is phenomenal.
does that hold up for kids though? Like some of these ones I'm seeing, like hearing, like, oh, I don't know if kids nowadays would be into it, but it's so funny.
No, so you don't think they are?
Yeah, some of those I think is a little bit lost on kids right now.
100%. It's a movie for people who are like fed up with the whole like having a million people over, getting everything ready, everything going wrong. You can't relate to that until you're like 30.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like the Christmas Vacation when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, this is kind of just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you watch it now and it's hilarious.
No,
I like it.
I probably haven't watched it since I was a little kid.
I've watched it maybe
I'll probably-
twice in my life.
Yeah, I'll never watch it again.
It's okay.
I have a beef with that movie because there's a scene where she goes, "Why is the floor wet, Todd?" And then this guy goes, "I don't know, Margot." And I didn't know that was like a thing. And now when I first had Margot, people at work would say it all the time. "I don't know, Margot."
You have to change your name.
I know.
I guess so.
Just
Okay,
like-
we get to the top 5, and I really can't argue with any of these in the top 5. Number 5, Elf.
So good.
He was
I saw it when it first came out, and I barely remember it, but it's like universally loved. So I mean,
It does hit that kiddo thing because he's like downing syrup and spaghetti and he's goofy enough. So like I have watched it many times with the nephews and the nanny kids, and they like it. They at a young age think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
What did he say the 3 ingredients were in his spaghetti?
Was like
it?
candy corn, candy canes, and maple syrup or something like that.
Absolutely, you nailed it. That was the order he said them in too. Maple syrup on spaghetti.
Well, that's actually taken from the Santa Claus. That's how the elves ate in the Santa Claus.
Oh, really?
Everything was candy all the time.
I suppose, yeah, makes
Well,
sense.
it makes sense. I mean, they're magical elf creatures.
But he does a great. I'm not a huge. What's his guy's name again?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I hate him and everything else.
Yeah, he's not very good.
Even Anchorman.
Nana, what's Nana up to?
It's 11.
It's not 11.
It is not even
daylight savings time.
I was like,
oh my God, Lord, that's right. Yes.
Oh God.
Wrong state.
Yeah.
when she was walking in, Tom,
I was like,
I knew it. I knew that she thought, because my mom called me yesterday during the show.
Yep.
And because she messed up the Florida time. She literally called me at like 10:01. And same exact thing where I was like, Mom, what's going on? Like, I'm on air. And she's like, oh, sorry, Florida time.
That's what I'm saying. We should just have one world time.
Yeah,
That's what they do in China.
In the entire world.
And you just adjust accordingly
Exactly.
to how much daylight you have.
Because, I mean, if you grow up thinking that, like, the sun rises at 4 p.m., you're not going to think that's weird. It's how you grew up. It's up to us to adjust. And then the next generations, they'll just look whatever.
And that is what China did. China has one time zone.
Yep, despite the fact that it's like, isn't it like 5,000 miles across?
It's a long way across. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah. I mean, what would you care if noon was dark and midnight would not be midnight anymore? It'd be mid something, but it would be light out at midnight. So it's at 12 o'clock. Who cares?
There's no real significance to like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just it's what we're used to.
Andy, we got to tackle one thing at a time. And my first thing is this daylight savings.
I know.
Step 1, daylight savings, and then we can take on your world time thing, which I'm not exactly on board with, but I like being a part of a group, so I'm
We
in.
never have to worry about time zones ever again.
I mean, I don't often.
Well, that's the thing is some people just like they have a real hard time with it.
No, well, it is annoying, like especially with booking guests on the
booking
show,
guests,
and they're like, "Well, is it 9 o'clock your time or our time?" It's like,
And then you tell them, and they get it wrong anyway.
Yeah.
I suppose that's, actually, when you drive down to the southeast from Minneapolis, you go through the central and eastern time zones like 5 times because you're right on the border of it.
Now
It's better than what they used to do. Every city in the country had its own time because time was always based on when the sun started to rise. So if you took a train from one city to another, the time would be like 6 minutes different.
That'd be insane.
Yeah,
What?
and that's why time zones were invented.
That makes sense.
Because there would be like, I live in a city 30 miles away. It's actually 5:05 here, whereas it's 5:02 where you are.
Oh my
and so trains started colliding with each other because no one could actually decide what time it was. And they were like, we got to do something about this.
That seems like the dumbest idea ever.
does.
Like,
It is-
no offense to whoever created time at the beginning, but like, come on.
Yeah. It's like caveman time.
Yeah.
It's like, what time is it? It's sunrise plus 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was all based on the sunrise anyway, wasn't it?
It was all, it's like sunrise was like 6 a.m. or something like that, no matter what. If the sun rises, that's 6 a.m.
At 6 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter if it was 3 hours earlier, 3 months ago.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Okay. So Elf, we do agree, is a very good movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. He did a hell of a job in that movie. Number 4, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That one's old. That's
the
Rankin
one of
Bass.
those old ass Rankin Bass ones. Yeah.
That one's pretty funny. There's a lot of funny lines in that are like very weird. Like, well, you're a broken doll. Get out of here. Like just
they
very
tell like it
aggressive.
is. What's the one where it's
The Island of Misfit Toys.
the February 2nd one, the gopher?
Yeah.
And isn't there a line where the kid wrecks something and the dad goes, "You've ruined Christmas"?
There's something like that where they're just very aggressive in that movie.
I guess I ruined Christmas.
That's pretty funny, actually. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, then we got number 3. The 3 last ones are big ones, no doubt about it. Charlie Brown Christmas, number 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I guess his house over in St. Paul is still, what's his name? Charles
Schultz.
Charles Schultz, yeah. I guess that house is still decorated up with his characters on the wall.
That's great.
I'm sure it always will be.
Yeah, it probably always will be because you don't want to cover that up, do you?
You don't want to be the monster that buys that and does that.
Yeah, pretty much true. So yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas is number 3. Number 2 is A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
You liking that one?
You'll shoot your eye out.
Possibly the worst Christmas movie of all time, but
I've never really been into it.
No.
Like it's fine, but it's like I don't know.
The narrator voice, being the adult voice, is really fun of him remembering what it was like to be a kid, and then the
Only I
decoder
didn't
ring.
say fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Gene Shepard, this guy who wrote the book. He was the one who narrated the whole thing. And by the way, brilliant writer, no question. I know I liked it because when the dad gets his Christmas gift, he looks at it and goes, "Ooh, fragile, must be from Italy."
Must be from Italy.
That's the thing. It's got like a lot of very iconic scenes, like going down the slide to shoot your eye out, freezing the pole.
Like,
but then everything between those scenes kind of feels like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's a movie where nothing happens.
Pretty
Yeah, but,
much.
like,
Seinfeld,
it's like-
the movie.
it's very Midwest experience.
It is. Yeah, it's very like freezing your tongue to a pole. I bet 95% of people never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah, and like a big fear of all of us. Like for some reason, we're like, should we?
I was always told, like, do not lick a pole or you will lose your tongue.
Yeah, very true. But it is the number 2. It's favored by 33% of people asked. Their second favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. I liked it a lot because I've read every book that Gene Shepard's ever written, so I'm a huge Gene Shepard fan.
Yeah.
I think we had him on one time, like, God, 40 years ago or something like that. But I got to believe he's not around anymore, I wouldn't think, anyway.
He has been dead for quite a while, 24 years.
24 years. So like I said, that was about 40 years ago. So that's about right.
And 24 years ago, he was 78. So even if he hadn't died, he'd be 102 now. So
yeah, but he was the narrator in that movie. He was absolutely terrific. No
and
doubt.
he scripted it too.
Yeah. Great writer. Number 1, you guys already nailed it. Home
Grinch.
Alone is the number 1. No, Grinch
The
is
Grinch wasn't on that list.
Not on the whole 10 choices.
That's surprising.
I agree. Because The Grinch is a damn good movie. You're right.
Hmm.
So what do you think of Home Alone? I mean, Home Alone, the first one I loved. The others I'm not wild about.
2 is still good, but it's more of the same.
So-
2 is just Home Alone 1, but more.
Yeah, it's more Home Alone. But Home Alone, I think it was 3 or 4. Which was the one where they get a new kid?
3 is the new kid, and that's the one. There's like a microchip in an RC car.
Yeah. So my stepdad's dad. So my step grandpa. He loved that movie. He saw it in theaters with his girlfriend, and yes, he had a girlfriend at the time. And he came home to us, and there was 7 of us kids, and he's like, "You guys gotta see this." He acted like it was Casablanca plus Titanic. It was like the best thing he's ever seen. So of course, when it comes out on DVD, we watch it, and like every 4th day, Grandpa, he lived in my stepdad's basement. He would come upstairs and we'd watch Home Alone 3 with him. And so I've seen that movie so many times.
I just watched it for the first time, I think last year. Melissa grew up watching it and she likes it a lot. I think it was fine.
It's fine, but I have such an emotional attachment. The emotional attachment I have, how much he came and raved about it. I was like,
that's the thing. It's not like a top 50 movie of all time for sure. It's a bunch of people falling over and trying to catch an RC car.
There's a scene where this girl's on this flip phone and she's the bad guy, and they find out where they are, like the car is, and she hangs up and goes, "We got it." And to this day, I still try to end my calls going, "We got it."
I know you can't flip phone. It's so much less dramatic when you're just hitting that red button than flipping a phone close.
The days of nearly snapping your flip phone in half because you just shut it so hard. Yeah, those were
Absolutely.
I had one of those, the flip phone, no question. I had the brick, actually. Remember the first cell phone?
Oh, the
that came out with
Nokia.
The candy bar, yep, they called it.
Oh my God, the thing weighed about 10 pounds. You're like, I gotta put the phone down for a minute. It was heavier than hell.
So, yeah, do you remember, did your kids always want to play Snake on it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Snake, and what was the other one? There was another game that was on every phone back then.
I
well,
just
not
remember.
brick phones.
Yeah.
Brick phones they didn't have a screen.
No, I think you're talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the pre-candy bar.
The old ones. Yeah, the Nokia brick phone. That's different.
Yeah. It looked literally like a beige brick.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're talking about the one with the antenna that you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
that
what
was that was the format before the candy bar format.
Yes.
Tom, I bet it blew people's mind that you had a cell phone back then. Like that, I bet you that was a novelty.
Let me just talk to someone far away.
Far away, man.
Wow.
Well, I will tell you this. One of the people in the old Q building at 917 North Lilac Drive said, "Hey, Tom, can I borrow your car? I want to run up to Byerly's, which is like 2 city blocks away."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, no problem." So it was a convertible. He puts the top down, goes in, and my phone, of course, is on the console. He comes out and somebody was stealing the phone. Luckily, he saw them stealing it.
Yeah, because it's like attached at the time.
And those things were like $10,000 in today's money.
Oh, they were a lot of money, no doubt about it.
Insanely expensive.
Yeah, but he caught up with the guy and got the phone back from him, thank God, because that thing, like Andy said, was a fortune back then.
1984, the first cell phone was priced at $4,000.
Holy cow.
Which is equivalent to $11,000 today. So yeah, it's a
phone.
I know. Well, it was 1984. It was the first of its type.
How much was it?
$4,000.
$4,000.
I don't think you had one in '84 though. The Dynatac.
I can't remember. So what would it have been? Like 87, 88, something like that?
I bet you were one of the first people in Minnesota. My grandma had a phone in her car, and I thought it was the most glamorous thing, and it was terrible reception. It cost so much money to call anyone from it.
I will tell you what, and I don't even remember this, so there's no way you guys probably ever even heard of it. But the first phones in cars were not cell phones; they were desktop phones.
Yeah, my grandma had a desk, like a
cord. Yeah, the cord that connects it.
in Williston, North Dakota. My grandma had a desktop phone in her console, and I was like, we'd go to church, and I was like, my grandma is the most fancy, advanced. I was like, and I would sometimes pick it up, and they'd be like, "Don't you dare dial out," because it was like this much money. And I just
$50 a second. Yeah,
it was. Why would we even have? She lives in Williston. Everything was 2.5 blocks away. Like,
no,
I
I remember when we had dial-up. We've all had dial-up, right? Yeah. I go to Florida, and I'm using our dial-up, of course. What I didn't know is that when you go to a different state, you have to go into the settings and change the phone number that you're dialing to a local number. So what I was doing is I was using dial-up long distance. Back when long distance was like $5 a minute.
Oh my God. What was that bill, Tom?
That was pretty, this was like 20 years ago too, at least.
25. I cannot tell you between Andy and Alex, the bills I used to get for the things that they did.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
No, you cannot imagine.
The modern version today, I suppose, would be letting your kid play Farmville or whatever, and they rack up $5,000. It's like, if I press this button, I get more gold in my game.
But honestly, I blame the parents. Like, how you
you should know 100%.
Right. How you just gonna have your credit card information where your little 8-year-old can...
No, Ethan is never touching my phone.
Right.
We're gonna get him like a cheap little phone that has, YouTube, not YouTube, like Kids Tube, whatever the hell it's called, and basically nothing else on it. If he wants to play a game, there's going to be no credit card info on there, so he can try to get that microtransactions all he wants, but he never will.
I got to mention one thing that I've seen more and more and more of as the years have gone by, and it's the worst I've ever seen it this year. Young people, basically in their 20s, maybe teens, 20s, and maybe really early 30s, walking down the hallway or a street staring at their phone.
I see all ages.
You're going to get robbed,
100%.
Yeah.
You better stop doing that.
Yeah. It's really weird. I feel like the addiction to phones is including myself. It's so palpable. Like, I've got a problem. Like, I got to start putting some settings on mine because I'll be on my phone in the weirdest times. And I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I should be cleaning like up something. And I'm like on TikTok for 20 minutes. And I'm like, what just happened? Why?
But you don't walk down the sidewalk staring at your phone, do you?
I hope not. I mean,
don't do that.
I mean, I listen to music a lot when I walk or run, but
that's good.
But I still have headphones where I can hear other people because I still live my life thinking I'm going to get hit by a car.
Yeah, you don't want to put earbuds in when you can't hear anything other than the music or whatever you're playing. You got to be able to hear. Yeah, people have gotten look. I mean, what is the big store that I saw that's been robbed like 3 times, and it's like a candy store or it's been robbed 3 times already, and it just opened about a month ago.
What is that?
I don't know, but it's like, Jesus, don't you have anything better to do? Why don't you go get a job? How about that? No, they're not going to go get a job.
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. Black Friday. What?
You are thinking of the Las Vegas Valley Lego store, I think.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, you're right. It's the Lego store. 3 times, right?
3 times since opening. Well, that's Lego. It sounds like, you're just you're stealing these cheap little toys. No, There are Lego sets that are $500.
Yeah. And there's a whole crazed Lego community of people that like are buying these $10,000. There's like Lego celebrities where they'll do unboxings and here, watch me build these. And it's not just you and your little kid building a Star Trek thing.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, they're that much, really?
Yep. Well, there's some Legos. They're like 10,000 pieces, and they're designed to be assembled by like a team of NASA engineers over the course of a decade. It's ridiculous. It's like, how much time do you have on your hands where you can build this kind of thing?
Is there a Lego store still out at Mall of America?
Yeah.
There was.
There's.
Oh, it's still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably hard to get that thing out of there.
I would imagine so. No question.
Yeah.
That huge. What are you looking confused for, Brittany?
I just like, why?
That huge ass statue thing?
They're also Legos, so like it's probably pretty easy in some ways.
Just disassemble it and reassemble it elsewhere.
One of those days today, Brittany.
What are you going to do? Black Friday and Cyber Monday are in the rearview mirror, but there is a trick that might snag you a deal between now and Christmas. I don't understand this. I read the headline, and you guys maybe can help me out with this. When you're shopping online, try adding something to your cart and just leaving it there. Don't buy it right away. The site you're on probably. Oh, so this is from home. I thought they meant when they put it in your cart. I thought they meant the push cart.
Oh no, yeah, put it in your
home.
Wait for it to
online cart.
depreciate before you buy it.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying is put it in your cart and then wait for it to depreciate.
Oh, this is what happens to me. So I put things in my cart all the time to like remind myself later or look at it later, and all of a sudden they'll straight up email you, hey, this was in your cart, do you want 20% off if you want to buy it? And I'll be like, I forgot that existed. I wasn't trying to scam you, I just don't know, I just didn't even know if I wanted it.
Also, a lot of things online, their prices are set by a bot, which gauges supply and demand.
Yeah.
So it's like they're looking for a certain amount of sales per hour or whatever. And if it gets too low, the bot will lower the price automatically. And if it gets, if enough people buy it, then it'll raise the price because it's like a supply and demand kind of thing. So if everyone just kind of sits on it and waits, the price will automatically start to go down because it looks like demand is going down. So there's that too.
There you go. I did just look at the headline. I scrolled back up. Yeah, I would have seen online shopping hack. They were talking about online carts. So, yeah, I think that's great, though, if you put it in your cart because it doesn't cost you anything to put it in there, right?
No.
So you leave it in your cart, and you said, Brittany, they give you a call or send you a text message that says, hey, look, this is on sale. You want it?
Yeah, if your email's connected to it, you'll all of a sudden get an email. This happens to me with Nordstrom's all the time because I'll like put random things in my cart just to like, I'll look at this later or whatever. And it doesn't guarantee that you have it. Like you can, if you have it in your cart and it sells out, too bad. They're not going to probably hold that up if it's more than like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it happens to me all the time where I'll get an email and it's like, hey, you know that thing you have in your cart? Here's 20% off if you still want to buy it. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, and it sounds like a very nice, convenient, let's do a nice little hack, but it's a lot like when casinos will send, chronic gamblers a, hey, we miss you, come back and get a free $20.
Are you relating my shopping?
Free 20, it's 100%
to chronic gambling? I just lost my mind on Tory Burch's Cyber Monday sale, and I'm waiting for all that to show up. So I feel attacked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
God, honest, it's that time of the year, though, isn't it?
I know. I was just wearing it's a bad sign. There's a certain KB in your life, Tom, who when I went shopping with Catherine in Vegas, we went to a certain store and they offered her free shipping. And so I bought something and she's like, oh, I have free shipping here. And I was like, how did you get that? Like, how much money did you spend to get that?
You want me to answer that for you? I'll answer that for you.
Don't answer it.
She's the mother of Alex. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. It was so fun. Shopping with Catherine is so fun because she's like me. Just get it. Get it. Get it.
It's like when people are like, oh, we can go to the casino. I get free rooms there. It's like, do you get free rooms there?
Yeah, no, you're
or
not.
Are they basically like rewarding you for spending so much money that the cost of the room is irrelevant to them?
All right, now we got to go to a break here because Kristen Burt's coming up. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What are the percentages? Because they got to be somewhere of you going in a casino and winning.
It's like they have it calibrated pretty close to 50%, so it's easier to think that you're winning. It's like 45% or something like that, 45, 46.
And what is it actually, about 95 that you're not going to win?
Well, no, but I'm saying you win about 45% of the time.
Yeah.
You win 45% of the time.
Yeah,
So
over a long enough period of time, that means every dollar you put in, you're going to get like 90 cents back. But it's, if they give you that payout every so often, it's easier to lose track of how much money you've lost.
Yeah.
Whereas if it just took your money every single time, you'd be like, oh, this sucks, I'm leaving.
I mean, because I like going to casino. I'm not a big gambler. I don't sit down and play cards or any of that kind of stuff. Last time I did, we were in Vegas, and there was this beautiful young woman that was the dealer, blackjack dealer. And we played 2 hands, and she looks at me right in front of everybody else, goes, honey, you suck at this. I'm going to play your hand. And she did. She played my hand for me, which was great.
Yeah. Gambling's one of those things that the times I've won, I walk away and I won't go for years because
Yeah, me too.
I can live off that for a while. I don't care.
All right, we got to take a break. Be right back. Kristen Burt will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
God, I'm looking at 4 different people, and you all look like you're having a seizure.
What?
Except for Andy. I was like, you guys were all doing this.
Dancing to the music?
Are you on
More than a feeling.
More than a feeling. We're getting a little dancing time in before the show. That works for me, no doubt about it. Andy, of course, shoulder to the wheel, doing his job, you know. Kristen Burt, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Magnificent. Things are going very, very. Oh, you know what? I want to mention this right from jump. There's now I forgot his name again. Damn it. I think it's Johnny Harris. You ever watch Murdoch Mysteries?
Mm-mm.
Phenomenal show from Canada. And the copper on there, the one that wears a uniform, I believe his name is Johnny Harris. He has a show called Still Standing, where he goes,
It is Johnny Harris, yes.
Yeah.
What's that?
It is Johnny Harris.
It is Johnny Harris. Oh, good. Thanks. He goes literally from the far east coast of Canada to the far west coast of Canada to these small towns. My God, it's a great show. It's really, I don't know how, I think it's maybe like 5-10 years old or something.
Still Standing
But
is 8 years old.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8 years old. Okay.
Mhm.
But honest to God, it's so good because it's very natural. He goes to these little towns with Canadians, and there's this one place. It's a beautiful couple of islands. They're kind of like right next to one another. Just gorgeous out in British Columbia. It's called, was it Hempstead or something like that. But he goes, there's 150 people that live in the entire two islands, 150 people, and everybody's happy. It's kind of a real cool deal that maybe the still standing part is the fact that he's a very funny stand-up anyway, and that he's trying to get the point across that happiness and people laughing is still standing. I mean, it's a wonderful show. Really good.
It's an unscripted show. Is that what you're
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the people in the audience are just, because he shows all these scenes with the people, you know, going here, there, and the rest of it. One thing I did learn from watching this show just for one night last night, Catherine and I watched a few episodes. Not a lot of people in the country in Canada brush their teeth. Every time somebody smiled, there'd be like two missing right here. It's like, Jesus. Don't you have any dental up there?
I got a missing tooth.
Do you?
Yep.
Where?
One of my molars is missing. Top left.
Are you getting a dental implant?
Thing is, they're really expensive, and you have to go to the dentist like 37 times in order to get them.
I have one.
I don't have the time for it.
It's honestly, it's not that hard a process. Because I had a baby tooth and there was no adult tooth underneath.
Yeah,
and
that happens.
so I had a dental
Oh.
implant put in. And honestly, it was a very easy process, to be honest. Like the only thing you have to wait for is the screw in your gums to heal.
Yep.
And I got a flipper. And so I wore like a bottom retainer with like a little tooth in the spot, so no one ever knew.
Is it because people can see it? Is that why you wanted it?
For me, yeah, mine was like it's right here.
Because like if it's a back one, I feel like who cares?
Well, the problem with the molar is that's where you chew. So sometimes
Yeah.
like I'll absentmindedly like bite down on a like tortilla chip on the wrong side, and it'll go
Ooh.
right into my gum.
Ouch.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, doesn't.
I
Really
was
bother
glad
me.
I did it. I'm just letting you know it's not that hard a process, and I was glad I did it.
I'll get it done eventually.
Yeah.
It just
There you
doesn't
have
bother me enough to care at the moment, I guess.
But I wanted to bring that up, Kristen, because again, streaming is so good. If you take some time, and Catherine's much better at it than I am. She could find, because she's the one who found this show. I think it's like Bamfield or something like, I can't remember the islands. Just beautiful islands, but nobody lives there because they just don't want to live that far from the city.
Well, this is in Canada?
Yeah, it's in British Columbia.
In BC. I'm wondering because a lot of those islands off of Canada are not terribly livable.
No, I suppose that's true.
It's really cold, really windy.
There was one scene in it, it was hilarious because they're marching through the woods. And the guy goes, "Oh my God, there's a bear." Right. And there's this they show in this big brown bear and all the rest of it. And they're like, "What should we do? What are we going to do?" Turns out it was a stuffed bear that somebody put in their front or backyard. It wasn't even alive, but
Yeah,
it looked like it was.
Along one of our drives, someone decided to put up a fake deer on the side of the road on their property to slow people down. But all it does is cause people to panic and slam on their brakes.
Oh God,
that's fun.
That's not good. But yeah, the whole point I'm trying to make is I, for me, at least in my lifetime, TV is the best it's ever been. You can find magnificent things on TV you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, it is
there's
Bamfield,
plenty
Canada.
to dig through.
It's Bamfield, Canada.
And actually, their climate's pretty good. January, the low is 35.
Yeah. It's
so
That's not good. What are you talking about?
that's like blazing hot to us.
I want to tell you, it has been, I'm going to say this is California cold because I understand I've lived in Minnesota. But it's been like 65, and in California that is freezing. I have turned on my heat all week.
That's
meanwhile, the low here in January is 6 on average. So yeah, 36 I would take.
But just remember that like California homes are not insulated the way they are in Minnesota.
Right.
California homes aren't insulated like they are in Minnesota. That's what you sound like to us. Sorry, I'm so sick.
You have
I
every
hear-
right to complain, because if I lived out there or in like Arizona, and then all of a sudden you get one day that's unusually cold compared to what you're used to,
I
you
talk-
have the right to complain.
I talked to Kristen, I talked to my mom, I talked to Tom, and like I am so sick of hearing about your guys' situations. I mean, like, sorry, we're not prepared for that. Like, then get prepared. It's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't reconstruct my condo, so
it's on
It
you.
is what it is.
no,
I'd
that's
have to
very
have an
good
HOA
insulation.
deal with it. I'm not going through the HOA.
There's a very good point you're making, though. But your houses are not insulated, and that is huge. People don't know.
Yeah, California construction's not great. I'm going to be honest. Like, I grew up in New England where buildings have been around since the 1600s. And then you come out here and they reconstruct homes like every 10 years. So they don't preserve architecture, which is really a bummer, because there are some beautiful mid-century modern homes.
Yeah.
They'll just knock them down and they'll put up a modern farmhouse, which is not that pretty, and it's really just kind of basic. And then a few years later, something else will, like, you know, Spanish mission homes will come back in and they'll knock it down and they'll build a Spanish mission home. So nothing's preserved here, and it's quick construction.
All right, I want you to guess for something. Palm Beach Island. Okay. There is a lot that just went up for sale this month on Palm Beach Island. It's a lot. It's a big lot. How much is the lot?
10 million.
I was going to say, like, it's got to be at least 5.
15.
You ready?
Yep.
Empty lot. $200 million.
How big is this lot?
It's a big lot. There's no question, but you haven't even built the house yet, and you're almost you're a fifth of $1 billion into it already.
That's like a Jeff Bezos property, because it's like, who else is gonna buy that?
Buy that?
I hope they build just like a Rambler, like a
Yeah.
Just a small.
I just want a
little
modest
thing,
house.
yeah.
I don't want to clean too much.
2-bedroom house on a $200 million lot. But no, you're absolutely right. The reason I even saw it is because there's a special. I don't know what channel it's on. It's a 3-part special about Jeffrey Epstein. And it was in his neighborhood on Palm Beach Island. That's why I knew about it. It's like, my God.
Yeah, here's a parcel in Boca Raton. Let's see. How big is it? 2 acres, $45 million. Oh, I can get financing, though.
Oh,
So
that's good.
it's okay.
It's such a good financing rate right now. It's really good.
Yeah, really. God, 7% on $45 million. I don't even want to try to do that now.
How'd you like that, though? Every acre you own is worth $22.5 million. That's amazing.
Yeah, that would never happen here in California.
My favorite
We don't have
also
that
is-
kind of land to begin with.
Yeah, right.
I also like the realtors, selling points and stuff. It's like, 5 minutes to downtown. Well, that makes up for the price for sure.
Yeah, no question.
If I can walk to downtown, $45 million is basically a steal.
I never thought in my lifetime I would hear of a $5 million lot, much less a $45 or $200 million lot.
That's
Well, it's why people can't afford to buy homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose that is pretty much true, because
That's the thing, is you're not going to see any $45 million lots in rural Nebraska.
No,
you could probably buy 1,000 acres for 1/100th of that price. It just, if everyone wants to live in the same place, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, Palm Beach Island's not that big, so I mean it's
No, very
long. But
And who
I mean,
knows if it will be here in 20 years.
That's true.
I mean, my brother's area of Miami floods every single time there are heavy
Oh.
rains or a hurricane. And he's
That's
like, this area has 10 years left. I mean, he's in a high rise, so it's fine. But it's one of those situations. He's like, I'm living here now because I can, because, in a decade, it's not going to be livable.
Probably true. That is probably true. But yeah, I discovered this whole thing because I was watching. I've only seen about 1.5 of the 3 episodes. It's Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just cannot believe the felony after felony after felony with young girls and money that this guy committed And every time he went to court, they threw it out. Said, no, he's good. Let him go.
Well,
You
wasn't it
believe
Bill Barr that gave him the sweetheart deal?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But
Yeah,
honest-
and he got no time, and he the continual access that he had to A-list people, celebrities, politicians, people in tech, and after his conviction, I believe it was 2008, he did some time, he got his sweetheart deal, he got out, he went back to Manhattan. People were still socializing with him. Royals, Prince Andrew has major ties to him, and it's one of those situations that don't tell me you didn't know what was going on some level. I mean, maybe not everyone did. If you went to one cocktail party at his house, that's one thing. But if you were hanging out with him regularly, going on his plane, visiting his island, you knew, you had some suspicion at least of what was happening. And the fact that nobody has been convicted in this except for his right-hand woman, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yep.
It feels very much like the Heidi Fleiss case where she took the hit and everyone else just walked.
And who were two of his best friends? There's one for the Democrats and one for the Republicans.
Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
Yep.
Yes.
Two of his best friends, two former presidents.
Yes. And remember, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were also friends. So it's,
Yeah. The whole thing is just such a mess. But I enjoyed watching it for that very reason. Like, look at the politics involved here and why this guy keeps committing crimes with like 13-year-old girls. And he never, as a matter of fact, they found, because I think it might have been Bill Barr too, that had his trash picked up by a fake trash collection unit so he could look through his trash.
and conveniently it disappeared, right?
Well, it's interesting. Part of that is they had, and they tested the little girl right after they tested this. They found his DNA in the little girl, and they found the purple dildo that he was using in the trash, and he still didn't get convicted. He didn't even get charged.
Yeah, I've covered this case quite a bit, and it's devastating and it's tragic. I interviewed Vicky Ward, who did a book on it, and she did it on Ghislaine Maxwell and just like her association, but it's astonishing how really nobody's been held accountable other than Ghislaine. But I mean, like, there are so many people tied to this, and it is a global network of child trafficking, child rape. It is child abuse. It's awful. It's disgusting.
Are you the, and I'm not going to spend a lot more time on this because it's such a disgusting subject, but do you think every one of those guys that went to the island were kind of, in a way, guilty of this?
I would say, I mean, your association with him doesn't make you look good to begin with. Prince Andrew, Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. I don't know. We just don't know to the level of what that means, because unless there's evidence, although I will say in Prince Andrew's case, he has been sued civilly for rape of an underage girl. And he settled out of court so that the case wouldn't move forward. Now, he denies it, but it got so bad that he was removed as a senior royal, and he basically is just a private citizen for the rest of his life. And kind of, he's King Charles's problem now at this point. But Queen Elizabeth, I cover the royals ad nauseum, so I know a lot about this case, but Queen Elizabeth protected Prince Andrew for all of these years. So you're even like, this little tiny 90-year-old woman was protecting someone who is an alleged rapist. And there is evidence that is pretty credible that points towards Prince Andrew hanging around underage girls and engaging in horrible activities with them.
Isn't that amazing? If you're a billionaire, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yep. And they're not criminally charged.
No,
I mean,
never.
So he paid off, a few $1 million settlement. But I mean, what's that? He's living in Royal Lodge on Windsor property. He doesn't even have to work a day in his life now because his brother's paying everything for him.
So tell me how that's justice.
It's not justice. And it's not justice for anyone who was victimized by any of these people associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
And we can get off the subject now, but the reason I brought it up is the greed in this world, not just America, around the world. The greed is at the highest level I have ever seen. Can you imagine the stories you're going to hear 5 years from now about this era? when everybody's money, 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 money. It's all they care about is money. It's going to be hideous. Mark my words, I say.
Yeah, and I just was trying to think. There's a Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. I just want to try to see the title if anyone's interested. Yeah, it's called Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich on Netflix. If anyone's interested,
right? It's a 3-parter.
I'm not sure how many episodes it was, but
I thought it would just say there. Sorry.
I'm just trying to see. It came out in 2020. So looks like it's 4 episodes altogether.
Oh, 4. Okay. So it's not the one I'm watching, but it's probably all the same anyway, don't you think?
Probably similar information, but I know that one gained a lot of traction back in 2020.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll close with this. There's a lot of discomfort and hatred and meanness in the world right now. You do not want to go anywhere near a billionaire right now because they could get away with anything. I'm just telling you, it's not going to be a good time the next 5 years. Mark my words, I say.
All right. So we'll timestamp this
thank you.
video.
Thank you. So what else happened in your world?
I just wanted to give an update. I know we were talking about Leo yesterday, and I said it's going to do gangbuster numbers for Netflix. Talk about 34.6 million people watch this over the Thanksgiving weekend, making it the biggest animated debut in Netflix history.
Really?
There is your Adam Sandler. Like that's what I said. He's probably one of the few A-list celebrities who's going to have their production deals canceled because he continually delivers for the network.
Why do you think that is? How does he know this? He's a kid from New Hampshire, right? That's where he grew up.
And went to NYU. I think that his comedy is relatable and accessible. It's not political. It's about family situations. It's about everyday things. You look at some of his movies, how many times, I can't tell you how many times I've seen The Wedding Singer. He casts other people who are also like fun and relatable and cute. 50 First Dates, like he and Drew Barrymore had that chemistry. He and Jennifer Aniston have great chemistry. And then he goes, I'm going to bring as many A-list people to this project. And like I said yesterday, we're going to go to Italy and we're going to spend the summer there. And you're going to bring all your kids and your family and your pets. And we're just going to have sit on a huge compound and party after the day is over with on set. Who doesn't want to work for that person too? That makes it, I just think that he creates an atmosphere that invites not only the audience to the table, but also invites everyone he's working with to the table.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I was just gonna say, he definitely doesn't make, like you're saying, movies in the traditional way where he's making it because he wants to and it's with the people he wants to make it for. He's not trying to make some statement like, look how brilliant of a cinematographer I am or anything like that. He's not controversial. And so it's more enjoyable to watch as a consumer when movies are made that way.
Yeah, to tell the truth, the only movie of his I didn't like was The Longest Yard. I thought it was okay at best.
That's okay. In a long career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question about it. Most of his stuff, he does dramas that are just as good as his comedies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uncut Gems was fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. That's a perfect example. Except, isn't that movie like 17 hours long or something?
It's not short.
Nothing's short these days. If you went to the 2 hours and 46 minutes in Napoleon this weekend, you're sitting through a lot.
Yeah, no question. Any great new things coming out? Because we just read the top. Should I repeat the list for Kristen? The top 10. I'll just run through them. Okay. See if you agree with these. You ready? The top 10 Christmas movies now listed: Die Hard, Miracle on 34th Street, The Santa Claus, It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Vacation. The top 5 are Elf, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Charlie Brown Christmas, A Christmas Story, and Home Alone.
Where's Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah, it's not on here.
Natalie Wood. So good. And I'm going to sit there and argue that Die Hard. I don't think it's a Christmas movie, but I know plenty of people will argue with me on that. That's fine. Agree to disagree on that one. But yeah, Miracle on 34th Street seems like to be a big one. Was Love Actually on that list?
No, that wasn't on the list either.
I'm actually going to the premiere tonight of Love Actually Live. They've adapted it into a stage show. And it's become a holiday tradition here in Los Angeles. So I will let you know how it is because I have not seen it before.
I have not either. Anybody seen Love Actually?
No, Melissa has, but that doesn't help us right now.
She saw the stage version of it?
No, she saw the movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen the movie a million times, but I'll let you know how the stage version is, how it translates.
No, Andy, am I right in saying that your lovely wife's birthday is Christmas Eve?
It is almost Christmas Eve. It's the 23rd.
It's not. I thought it was Christmas Eve, actually.
23rd. It's close enough.
Mine's the 3rd. All the December babies.
Well, you're December 3rd?
Mm-hmm.
Coming right up. 4 days.
Right up.
5 days.
Finally, I call it my birthday month.
Really?
Yep. All of December is my month because I get shortchanged because everyone's too busy with the holidays to celebrate my birthday. So I call it my birthday month.
Well, I remember the first time I ever talked to you many, many years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, you were very pissed off because Burt Reynolds stole your last name for his first name. It's not fair.
No, I wasn't.
You were deeply upset. I'll never
I
forget
was so angry at Burt Reynolds. Yeah. While I was watching Stroker Ace.
Oh, God. Was he easy to deal with?
No, he had a very difficult reputation behind the scenes. And you know, it's interesting. Even Sally Field has talked about the relationship and just said he was a really difficult man to date, but she loved him passionately, but he just constantly broke her heart. And you're like, don't do that to Sally Field.
Should I tell him the story about you and Burt Reynolds, Andy?
There's a story about me and Burt. Oh, is it?
You can't even remember
or whatever.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant. We're on vacation in Florida. And we walk into this restaurant, not necessarily tell you where it was. And we sat down at the table and the server comes over and looks at Andy, who at the time were you a teenager at that time?
I don't think even.
Yeah, you might.
I was much younger than that.
12, 13 years old. The server comes over and goes, young man, I bet you're going to be pretty excited when I tell you who just got up out of that chair 5 minutes ago. And he goes, really? Who just got up off the chair? He says, you're sitting in the chair that was occupied for 2 hours by Burt Reynolds. Pause. Who's Burt Reynolds?
Also,
I mean, what is his most recent big movie?
That's the correct response, Andy.
It's like
he's been dead for quite a while now. So
he's only been dead for 5 years.
I would say Evening Shade was probably his last big TV project.
And I'm sorry, Andy, and I mean this
ended in 94. So I mean, yeah.
Right.
I mean this in the nicest way, Andy. I don't think your reactions are never going to meet what that guy's expectations of what even if it was somebody you knew and loved, you're not the one who's going to be like, oh, really, in this chair? You'd go, cool.
It's like, if you told me that Shigeru Miyamoto sat in this chair, I'd be like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be the
that tone.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. That's
I'll
about,
have a
that's about as
Sprite.
good as you get out of me.
Yeah, but for
I'd
you,
go up
like,
16 octaves if I was excited.
Yeah. No, and Andy, for you, not growing up watching Burt Reynolds, I couldn't tell you anything he's been in.
No,
he was the guy with the mustache, right?
Was he in Cannonball Run?
Well, he's in Friends.
Yeah.
He goes on a couple episodes of
Okay,
Friends.
that's the one thing I know. I've never seen Cannonball Run, but I am aware of it.
Yeah.
Friends was Tom Selleck.
Oh, oops, sorry.
That Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck.
Deliverance. He was great in Deliverance.
Oh, yeah,
Hard movie to
Deliverance.
watch, but
Officer Dave's birthday is December 5th, by the way.
So, there you go.
oh, look at all the Sagittarius babies.
Yeah, I know.
No question.
Melissa, her brother, and her dad all in the same week in December. We got you. We got Officer Dave. It's like 5 people right there.
See, just right there.
5 out of 8 billion or so. It's pretty
One thing I have noticed now is your generation, particularly, Brittany and Tevin and Andy, do not know much about the past at all. You guys do not study history. It's interesting.
It's not. I know who. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like Burt Reynolds. I don't know anything about because
I understand that.
It's the genre because he was in the car chase kind of movies and stuff like that's like almost like westerns, but not that sort of thing. It's like I don't really care about that. But it's
I think we've reached a point though where the 70s, which was one of the big eras in cinema, especially independent cinema, is at the point where it's falling by the wayside because you're looking at 50 years now. So people are now looking back at movies in the 90s. And as that's where everyone's looking back to. And we're losing, unless someone is a huge cinemaphile, we're losing that 70s generation. And that was the height of Burt Reynolds' fame.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But my generation, it was totally different. And then maybe it's because, television was invented at that time and all the rest of it. But I studied people all the way back to, 1900. I can pretty much tell you who was in vaudeville, all that. Because I was interested in, when I look at those kinds of things, I go, well, let me look back and how did this all evolve? How did Hollywood happen? Because Hollywood originally was supposed to be in Hollywood, Florida, but then the state decided not to let him do it there. That's why.
Oh no, he moved because of, it was like a tax incentive or something, wasn't it?
Oh,
I thought the weather was an issue too.
Was it? Yeah, it could have been the weather, the hurricanes. Oh yeah, I can't even imagine.
Hurricanes and the humidity. I will say also though that social media again has changed Hollywood, has changed everything, every aspect of our lives, and it has changed how we consume media, and especially Alpha Gen. I think the oldest we talked about Alpha Gen, I think they're about 12 or 13. They are barely going to be watching TV and film. They are going to be attached to a device way more than even our generations.
Yep.
And I know we cover a wider scope, but it's just that's how they have completely grown up. And Hollywood is going to have to find a way to capture those audiences' attention. And they're already struggling. I don't know why we're making movies longer and longer and longer when people really want to watch a minute and a half clip at best on TikTok.
No, I'll tell you, and that's the reason I brought it up in the first place, to tell you the truth, because with digital now, sitting on your phone or your computer or whatever, that didn't exist back in the day. So you basically don't have time to look back at anything anymore. There's a constant rush of information coming at you now that I never had when I was your age.
Well, there's just enough stuff that you also don't really need to. It's like, if I want to watch any given genre of thing, there's 10 million options for me at this point. And they were all made in the past 20 years.
Right. And there's so much more content to be consumed today than there was even 20 years ago, where you had your, 10 Disney movies that were going to come out over the course of the year.
Over the course of your lifetime.
Right. Now it's like every week there's a new movie that's coming out that you need to rush to the box office or stream.
Well, it's like when Pixar first came out, Toy Story, that those 3D toys moving around on screen was like a huge deal. And now there's like 10 Pixars.
Right.
And Pixar's not an event movie. It's because, we have Disney Plus now. We have it right there at our home theater. And also on top of this, Hollywood has not, because of everything that has changed with streaming, we don't have big movie stars anymore. Like that last era of big movie stars, they're in their 50s or older. Sure, there are big stars. Sure, like you're going to have your Zendayas and your Timothy Chalamets and things like that. But they are not going to be $20 million a picture stars the way they were in the 80s and 90s. Those days are gone.
That's very, very true. All right, we got it covered now. We know where everybody is. Now we're talking. That's all I have to say. But I'm telling you, I started with this and I'll close with this. The entertainment you can find just by popping on television is amazing now. And it's very cool. I love having all that stuff. Catherine discovered this show last night. I loved it. I didn't even know it existed. So I guess my closing question for Kristen is, how do they promote something? Because I had no idea about half the stuff that she brings up. I never saw it promoted. I didn't even know it existed. How do they get their movies and TV shows out? The knowledge of them.
I know, like, let's just take Netflix because they always have like a plethora of content coming out each week. They kind of have tiers and prioritization of their properties. Like you have like A, B, and kind of C list. So let's just take, for example, like this weekend, they've got May, December coming out. It's with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. This is going to be a very big Oscar entry for them this year. They are going to push the heck out of this. You're going to see them everywhere. They're going to be doing promotions. They'll be on every red carpet they possibly can. While one of their smaller Christmas movies, maybe they will have some of their, like, because it's probably like TV talent or former soap stars, they'll probably have them do print articles or just newspaper articles and phone interviews, radio interviews. They won't push that FaceTime as much. And that's really what happens. So you're more likely to discover the Christmas movie they have coming out just by browsing. Where May, December, you're going to see their faces everywhere on billboards in the cities. You'll see probably ads taking out. You'll see trailers and everything else. So you kind of notice how much money they're putting behind the marketing.
Yeah, it makes total sense. All right, young lady, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You bet. See you guys tomorrow.
Kristen Burt, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break, be right back, and wrap things up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
What do you think of that action? That's all I have to say. All right, remember, run some by you guys, see if you agree with this. Social norms that people are sick of. Bad driving, I understand. Phones, I understand. Bad driving, phones, and the third one is donuts.
Donuts?
What?
Oh, like bringing donuts to work all the time, I guess?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out because I don't understand why donuts would be in with bad driving and phones.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. If I asked you what social norms you were sick of, you'd probably say tipping before I could finish the question. Why are people sick of tipping? We've always had tipping.
I think it's just
it's the new, like everybody, whether you go to Subway or whatever place to get food and you just go and order, they turn the screen around and there's always a tip thing on there.
Really?
Yeah, so it's extended past traditional.
Yeah, that's not good. I would have to agree with you on that one. That's not good. The rules are irritating, but for many people, getting tips is a great thing. People on social media are talking about widely accepted social norms that are overrated and harmful, I should say. The responses were a little darker, but some people made good points. Here are a few. Not valuing changing one's mind. Instead, we admire those who stick to their beliefs and are consistent over long periods of time, no matter what they learn or how they evolve as a person. That is not a good thing.
No.
Because what they just said to you is, I don't care what's true. It's what I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want to do that. That's not a good idea. Monetizing and quantifying everything, even hobbies, basically not doing anything just because you enjoy it. It's more about finding a way to earn money. See, there it is again. It's money yet again. They don't care about having fun. They want to make money. It's just doing it to post a photo on Instagram, whatever. There's the internet again, jumping in. The invasion of people's personal lives. Is there a lot of that going on? People invading personal lives?
Well, it's almost like it's a two-way street, because a lot of people will put way too much information on the internet about themselves. And then when it's like people will put their entire lives online. They'll tie their names and faces to their Twitter account. And then they'll say something insane on Twitter, and people will be like, "Oh, I know who you are because you've told us." And then they're like, "Oh, you've doxed me." If you want to say controversial things on the internet, don't use your face and name to do it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I'll tell you flat out, what the hell happened? Did everything fall apart?
I think someone's out there.
Somebody had to pee.
Or that.
Oh, it could be that. Yeah, I just, what you were talking about there, I just think that's a weird situation. Hustle culture and bragging about not sleeping, pushing yourself into an unhealthy lifestyle just to try to do more than everyone else. Again, about money.
The bragging about not sleeping thing is something that people have always done, and it's always bothered me.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like they have no excuse. They're like, "Oh, I only got 4 hours of sleep last night." It's like, but it was the weekend. You didn't work and you don't have a child. Why did you get 4 hours of sleep? It's like they think that not sleeping makes them seem more important or something.
Yeah, there's like a weird flex. And then people get mad at you for not doing the same thing. They're like, do you want to go out? And I go, no, I need to go get some sleep. Well, I only got like 8. I only get like 6 hours. It's like, okay, that's you. I would never choose that life.
Thanks.
I love sleep so much.
Thank you for living that way.
Love that for you.
No, I agree. What about letting kids have cell phones for Brittany and Andy here?
I will I'm going to give him your old brick one that has no
there you
screen
go.
on it. Well, I just want you can call me to pick you up. I want you to have access to that. I have no interest in giving Gogo a phone.
Well, our kids are also too old for that to really matter right now, because it's like you don't give a 1.5-year-old a phone in any circumstances, because they're just going to throw it against a wall and break it.
Oh, Gogo wants to push the buttons. She likes the reaction on the phone. I mean, she sees my phone and she thinks it either FaceTimes with Nana, so she'll go, Nana, or it plays music for her. So she'll go, music.
But you would never just give her the phone and be like, have fun.
No.
She's gonna wreck it. She'll break it for sure.
Yeah.
You don't really start doing that until maybe 3 at the very earliest. But even then, I don't think I would.
I just want her to be as present as possible. It's why we're like dragging our feet about screens, but we can. Like we have the availability to do that. Like I have no problem with other people needing to use screens. If I needed to work or something and not be able to that girl would be watching shows for sure.
Yep.
All right, we'll close with this one. And I've been talking about this for a couple of years, and he goes, no, that's not a problem. The blatant spreading of misinformation.
Yeah.
I still believe that somebody from Fox and somebody from CNN gets together every morning. You're going to fight this, and then we'll fight back, and you'll look like a hero today, and we'll look like a hero. I literally think they plan those news shows.
I also think it's a big headline to have the backlash to the backlash that does never, the first backlash never existed. It's like everyone's mad about the Merry Christmas. And it's like, I've never met anybody who cares if you say Merry Christmas. And they're like, what was the latest one? Dolly Parton. They're like, everyone is so mad about Dolly Parton's outfit. And I was like, nobody cares about Dolly Parton's outfit. It's Dolly Parton. Like, you're making this up.
My favorite, and by favorite, I mean the opposite of favorite, is when they have news articles that are like, they're highlighting the supposed social media explosion about a topic. And the article just consists of a bunch of embedded tweets with like 5 likes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, who do you think you're fooling by saying that this person who... this is the first time the public has ever seen their tweet, thanks to you.
Yeah.
It represents the entire world.
It is. It's the lack of news or the laziness of it where they go, this will get clicks. Like people being mad about being mad. And the reality of it is there was no initial anger. Like.
I understand that. All right. We got to wrap things up. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Love you. Bye.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com. Welcome to the family with
Tevin Pittman,
Andy Brant Bernard,
and co-host Catherine Brandt. What happened to Alex today?
Yeah, where is Alex?
She said she had some, I think it was some teaching thing, I believe. But yesterday she said she wasn't going to be on.
Some teaching thing.
Some teaching. What was that?
Little Timmy Lammers is here.
Little
Yay.
Timmy. How you doing, Timmy?
I'm good. Warming up in Minnesota.
Yeah, what's the latest?
40 degrees today, maybe?
40? That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, baby. You left
Nothing
too
wrong
early,
with it.
Tom. You left too early.
Yeah, well, we'll just, visiting some people. Not a big deal.
Sure.
No problem. So what's happening?
Well, speaking of Floridia,
I saw a movie that is fantastic. If you haven't seen it on Netflix yet, Naiad, about Diana Naiad swimming from Cuba to the Florida Keys. It is a great movie. It's Annette Bening and Jodie Foster.
Oh, I like that.
Bening plays Diana Naiad, and Jodie Foster plays her lifelong friend and coach. Forgetting her name now, but wow, you put those two together, and then just a lot of scenes that look like they were filmed on the ocean, because you never know these days.
Right.
It is just an amazing movie. You don't have to be a fan of swimming. You don't have to be rooting for Brittany's cousin at the Olympics.
Well,
you don't have to. Seriously, I mean, it's just one of those stories about, I'm going to make this happen no matter what, even if it kills me. And believe me, this came close to killing Diana Naiad. Her multiple attempts at swimming from Cuba to Florida. So yeah, definitely check it out.
How long is that distance?
Yeah, that's pretty far.
90 miles.
Well, yeah, and the path she had to take, because this is such of a sophisticated thing. They have to hire a navigator, and there's boats that, she's right next to a boat. Sometimes they use shark cages, sometimes not, but they have to circle around things. The actual trek, they say, is 103 miles.
Oh.
As it turns out, because she had to take some detours, she swam 110 miles.
God.
Spoiler.
I want 2 shark cages. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
well, she did it without shark cages.
I want 2 of them.
And here's the other thing. People think, well, it's like she can get up on the boat and rest. No. She has to be in the water the entire time. Nobody can touch her. Nobody can aid her. She has to be swimming for more than 60 hours straight.
Jeez.
I don't think I would be able to do that.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Now, I've certainly heard of Diana Naiad. Prior to this, I knew of the swim. But there's a lot more that goes into it. Some stuff is going to piss you off because she's driven by trauma. So they get into that. And not pissed at her. I mean, pissed at the stuff she had to go through. But yeah, it's an incredible movie. It's one of these things. I didn't catch it right away. It's relatively new on Netflix, but I didn't watch it right away. But boy, you got to put it on your list.
So, Timmy, did I hear that it was true that sharks constantly circled her for most of that trip?
Well, the threat was always there.
Yeah.
In the film, you have one scene where they had the sharks getting close. The things that really, and maybe there was more, because obviously there's only so much you can squeeze into a 2-hour frame, and this is just a tick over 2 hours. And it's worth seeing too, because the whole end credits is of the real Diana Naiad and Bonnie. Bonnie is the name, Stahl, of Jodie Foster's character, and so it's Diana and Diana Naiad and Bonnie Stahl, real life footage of them. So you get 2 hours of solid footage, more or less. But the big thing was jellyfish.
Oh, I bet.
Stung. And and on top of that, you're up 60 hours. She did like 500,000 swim stroke. 500,000 swim strokes.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine that? Yeah, that's all. Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, so she's hallucinating. It's just all sorts of weird things going on in her head while she's in there. So yeah, at least they made it sound like, the way she put it, I've been felled by sea creatures, so there are all types of creatures that threatened her. But yeah, they had sharks at one moment, and there is a method for that's when people dive in and scare away the sharks.
Sure.
Oh.
So you're actually putting a couple other people at risk by doing it. Okay, the sharks aren't going to get Diana, but there's a couple other dudes out there with some sort of, I don't know, I didn't quite understand the scene. It looked like they had, what was that thing that Javier Bardem, that cattle prod? Remember that?
Sure, yeah. Yep.
They hopped in it with these poles, but my kids were watching it with me, and they thought it was something to do with high frequency noises or something to scare the sharks away, which could be. But yeah, because it's a harrowing scene. It's like you just want the damn shark to swim away. Doesn't matter in which manner they do it. But yeah, it's really, I can't tell you enough about it. And of course, it's a really emotional thing, man. So get ready to shed a few tears. I love stories like that. Stories of triumph, good feeling stories. Unlike I heard a little bit of Brittany. You guys are talking about the social media and the outrage and the 24-hour news channels stirring up crap every single day.
Yeah,
sick of that.
Well, it's amazing to me. We looked at that and the stuff we've been talking about for a couple of months on this show and the other show and all the rest of it. People are being taught to hate one another, to be uncomfortable around one another, to not like one another, just so they'll buy more stuff to insulate themselves from other people. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It really, I'm sorry. The root of all evil in society is A, money, but B, money has a lot to do with social media. And that's right up there with the ultimate evil is social media. It is just, I wish it would go away. It really, and I hate to say it because people say, well, free speech and all that sort of stuff. But okay, then regulate it. I don't know how the hell you regulate it, but do something with it.
I have not been on social media now. Has it been 11 years, Catherine?
It's been a while. I don't think that regulating it really is the answer. I think that society just has to finally get sick of it. I mean, you can't.
It'll happen eventually.
Yeah, you can't maintain outrage for absolutely ever.
God, I hope it's almost over because it's getting really sickening. No doubt.
I was reading with Elon Musk, with as many attempts that people have had at trying to bring him down. And let's face it too. I mean, the guy steps in it all the time by tweeting himself.
Yes.
He still had more engagements than Instagram and Facebook, I think. Some numbers came out that say even though it's suffered financially because advertisers leave all the time, people are still engaging. People are still using it. So as long as they're using, I would imagine it's not going to go away. That's the whole thing.
He's also okay, so it's funny because Media Matters is what was spreading about a bunch of false information about what he said, that he was anti-Semitic or something.
Right.
Who knows what they were calling him. They used a bunch of false statements, and Twitter is considered like the last bastion of actual free speech, really. And his own platform is used against him. It's just, you can't even make this stuff up. It's like, oh, I bought this so that we can maintain free speech, and then they go right after him and try to bring him down.
Well, what's interesting about this whole thing too is that you notice once he bought it, Twitter was a cesspool. It was never a cesspool before.
Right.
Yeah, all of a sudden they decide now it's a cesspool. No, I won't say it was a cesspool at the very beginning. I joined in 2009. And again, all along, it's a promotional tool for me. And as it is for the podcast. And I will throw out comments here and there. But one time I tried to engage, and it doesn't matter if you have the proof in your hand. It doesn't matter. You will always get beat down and you're wrong. So that was the last time I did that sort of thing. So yeah, it's strictly a promotional tool. And Andy, I heard you bring up too before and talking with Brittany about how they try to give credence to a news story by saying Twitter is outraged when you get 3 people with 14 followers say something. And all of a sudden, that's newsworthy. And that, you're right.
But it works on people, too, is the sad thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Propaganda is so powerful, especially amongst the feeble-minded man.
Now, full disclosure, I will write entertainment stories where social media may react to the release of a trailer or whatever. To me, that's just fluff, okay? And I try to find the most significant tweets, which nobody can spell, by the way. Nobody, they can't spell
at all.
Capitalization. It is just the worst grammar out there. But when you have mainstream media using it for, serious news stories, then you should be really careful about giving the power to those 3 people with 14 followers, because then all of a sudden you're inciting outrage by something somebody says that's just starving for attention. And let's be honest, those people out there, they just want attention. That's why people do it. They say outrageous things. Oh, maybe I'll get in that article or I'll get on the news. It's a lazy news tactic that's been used forever. And if I ever ran a newsroom again, and I've never really run a newsroom, but I have been in charge of different people, I would say no stories based on Twitter.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Phone.
Yep. Right. They should take the same approach they did with using Wikipedia as a source. Not Wikipedia, not allowed.
Why did you bring that up, Kevin?
What can you?
Ruined my life here very quickly. I checked because somebody asked me to look something up on Wikipedia for them. So I did. I haven't been on that, like I said, in 11 years. And I went, gee, I wonder. So I typed in my own name. That was a huge mistake, man. Wikipedia hates everybody.
Yes, you can pay somebody to clean up your social media profile. You can't do it yourself, but you can pay somebody to do it for you. It's amazing how that works.
And they're probably the same people that are working with somebody else to destroy you.
Yeah,
right.
It's just a different company.
I couldn't believe it. Then I read, because I haven't looked at that thing, like I said, in 11 years. Like, none of this stuff ever even happened. And it's in quotes.
Yeah.
Like things I said are in quotes that I never said.
Well,
Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all quotes are, Tom, are just 2 keys on the keyboard. That's all it takes to make
right.
Quote.
No, that's it.
Yep.
But why do people, what is the joy they get out of harming other people without any harm to yourself? Because you're sitting at home on your ass typing it.
They can monetize if they get enough followers. All they need is one outrage to spread, and then all of a sudden they're monetized, and they can make some money.
See, I would do the exact opposite. If you were outraged about nothing, I'd go, I don't ever want to go on there again. Right?
That's just not how people operate.
And I'm sure there's, like Catherine was saying, like there's got to be scams where they go and edit, 100 famous people's Wikipedia, say nasty stuff, and then they go, hey, we can scrub the internet from all this nasty stuff if you just give us some money, and then they do their edits that they made and things like that.
And there's also just competitors can go in and say something nasty about somebody, because anybody can go in on Wikipedia and edit. It doesn't mean all the time that it will be accepted, but you can try to, because I know a couple of people that have tried to edit some stuff on your page, and this is years ago, and they said, and it was edited for like a week, and then it went right back to what it was before.
Oh yeah.
Even though I knew that that's not how it was like spelling of somebody's name. It was something super simple.
Oh, they hated me for misspelling their name?
No, Wikipedia had misspelled somebody's name.
Oh, that's
and the person tried to edit it, and they took the edit, and then they undid the
edit. Yep.
Yeah. And for every one person that's trying to correct information, there's somebody that's trying to go the other way. So it's like a constant back and forth of you and some other guy from Illinois that's trying to update, the Popcorn King with the page.
I did look at the dates of all these postings for that brief. I was on it for about probably 5 minutes, maybe tops. But you could tell by the way things were said, the way they were written, the way they were posted. It's just from other radio stations. You could just tell because they would say things about the business that very few people would know. So it's like my competitor, just because you're getting your ass kicked, is going to try to ruin my life. And by the way, it did work on my voiceover career. They destroyed it because, the advertising business, they are the most sensitive bastards on earth. I mean, there's no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
So they knew they could take care of that, and they did. They destroyed it, and good for you. But see, I don't know how that feels. I've never had my ass handed to me like you did, so maybe you're too sensitive.
You were at ground zero of the cancel culture movement, Tom.
Oh, God, yes.
When it really didn't exist. I mean, that's just horrible. Horrible. I mean, it destroys your livelihood, man.
Yeah, that's
all you need is one crabby coworker to make your life a complete misery.
Wait a minute, crabby in radio? Who ever heard of it?
Why do you think Timmy works by himself?
Good move. Yeah. Well, we all do.
Been a struggle, believe me, but I'll take the struggle any day over that BS, man.
Why don't people about 10 of the biggest people should all band together and sue the living piss out of Wikipedia. Then they'd have to shut that thing down in a
And they're always asking for money too.
Oh, always. They
Always, yes.
That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, why do we put up with that? Why does it still exist? Because they buy
Wikipedia
it.
makes a lot of donations to some very powerful NGOs. And
There you go. There you have it.
It's not all bad on Wikipedia. You 90%, like most of the stuff on there is accurate that you can.
I would never read any article that's even the slightest bit controversial or political. 100% waste of time.
But if you want to know like just a fact about some random history of a company, you can go on there and it's probably going to be
perfect for that.
That's exactly right, Tevin. I mean, look, I'll use it as maybe a second place after IMDb to see, well, what is a list of credits? I mean, I don't know how you're going to politicize that. So there are some legitimate things on there, but to use it as an actual verified source.
No, I'm not going to try to use the information on there to win like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it's a good starting point for some things.
That's your lifeline?
Yeah, my lifeline.
Wikipedia for my lifeline. God, remember that.
Can't you find that information on not sites, but you just look up the information individually? Because that's what I do, and I can always find what it's about. I mean,
it's just more of a centralized location. You don't have to worry about, is this some random guy that just made a website? Because anybody can make a website just the same way anybody can post on Wikipedia.
Right.
I don't know, the whole thing. Like I said, that's why I stay away from it. It's like, oh my God, you people they would. My starting point for that whole thing is, and I've always responded, and that was 11, 12 years ago, I can guarantee you'd never say that to my face. And that would piss people off like you wouldn't believe.
Well, I remember you used to say your address. Hey, come down and meet me.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me.
917 North Lilac Drive. Come on down. I'll be waiting for you out front. Nobody ever showed up. But, why are people like that now where they got big mouths on social media, but they'd never do it in person?
Well, not only that, they don't usually, those people with the big mouths have some sort of strange name that, they don't, you don't know who they are.
Yeah, their name isn't, Chris. It's, Avenged Horse 76.
I hate Tom Bernard.
76.
I hate Tom Bernard 76. Are you implying that there are numbers of people that hate you?
That's what I'm implying, exactly. But I have a question for you. Why is there no balance? There doesn't seem to be any balance, and maybe it is mentioned because, like I said, I don't go on it. But why isn't there the opposite, where there's a Wikipedia where they actually prop people up instead of trying to bring them down? Why doesn't that exist?
Where's the fun in that?
Well, that's the whole problem.
Because positive doesn't sell. You always have those little 2-minute minute segment at the end of every newscast. And before we go, and then there's that fun stuff in there. But the first 28 minutes is drudgery.
We looked that up years ago, Andy. You found some sort of statistic on how many more clicks you get on a negative comment than a positive one. It's an overwhelming amount.
When on Wikipedia, it's also a matter of the kind of terminally online, perpetually offended person who has 8 hours a day to just sit there and slander people online. They've got so much free time and they've got the drive to do it, whereas normal people are too busy working and having friends and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, like, again, this would have been 12, 13 years ago. There was a whole situation where all men are bastards. No, all women are whores. It's like, you got time to sit and do that? Really? Well, it's just, so in other words, miserable people are the ones who are driving all this negativity. Is that kind of the truth?
100%. On Twitter, on Wikipedia, anywhere anywhere on the internet, most of the people doing this they're just miserable. They have no lives, and that's why they're so prevalent.
Yeah, and half the time they don't even really care as much as they they care. It's like when you see something funny and you text your friend like, "Oh my gosh, I'm crying laughing." I'm really just sitting here and I giggled at it, but I have to over exaggerate.
I know you're typing LOL with a completely blank expression on your face.
Well, I mean, it just comes down to this. People just crave attention.
Yeah, they do.
And that's why you get big stars saying very stupid things. Yeah. It's like, why would you ever say that? it's because they crave attention, even though they have everything they ever would want, even at that level, they crave attention. So you can about imagine somebody, Lonesome Jim sitting, out in bum F wherever, wanting attention. They're going to say something stupid to get it. So yeah, it really just comes down to that. And thank God I don't know if I ever was one of those who craved attention. I just kind of like to keep by myself. You know what? I would imagine when I was younger, maybe. But if I put something out there, it would be meaningful. And believe me, as living as a writer most of my career, I choose my words very, very carefully. You just have to, because now all of a sudden people can they can analyze that one thing you said, that one line, and they can find a million different things in it.
Yep.
Well, we had evidence of that. What was that? It was a Ronald Reagan quote that the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the guy that?
The Secretary of Education misquoted him.
Of Education, yeah.
Have you seen this?
No.
The 9 most hated words in the American language, or the most dangerous words?
Yes.
Oh, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Something like that.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yep.
The Secretary of Education quoted him, meaning I'm from the government and I'm here to help. He didn't know that Reagan was ripping people.
Oh, yeah.
Moron. I mean, how stupid do you have to
Quoted
be?
him out of context, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You've been better off quoting George Carlin.
If you're going to quote somebody, you might want to look up the quote.
What an idiot.
Especially on a speech.
Well, once again, all he had to do was get on the internet and go, well, let's see the context of this. Let's listen to the part about the 9 most hated words in the language, or
right,
whatever.
Words, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But the guy thought it was we're from the government and we're here to help. That's not what he meant, sir. Not at all.
I don't want to hear those words.
I was very familiar. I said the quote before you even said it, and it happened before I was born.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's like, what excuse does he have for not knowing the context behind
He's an
this
idiot.
quote?
Most people are incredibly stupid. I'm sorry, but it's
true.
And it's funny, the same people that say stupid things, celebrities, because that's who I mostly deal with.
Sure.
The general excuse is, oh, well, it was taken out of context.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you said the exact words, but it was taken out of context.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get past this, or is it just going to get bigger and bigger? The internet's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. Is it just going to get worse?
Well, again, Tom, wherever that cave may be, I guess I need some. Maybe I shouldn't. I should stay away from the Wi-Fi in the cave. But I'm looking for a perfectly nice, warm cave to live in, because I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, there you go, Iceland.
Move to Iceland. They've got all kinds of warm caves.
Volcanic caves.
Yeah, they're what's it called with steam power? Steam.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's something like that, but it amazes me when you look at that kind of thing, and the people that are running that, they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They have no clue. And it was a friend of mine actually was because I talked about that a bit to a couple of different people, and I got a call from a friend of mine that said, Tom, let's not forget, when you were in 3rd grade, you thought your teacher was a moron. I said, yeah, that is true. Because I actually did. I was like, I'm not going to learn anything here. That I already know all this stuff. What am I doing here? Our education system is really bad right now. Really bad. Don't you think?
It's the Secretary of Education who
said that.
Yeah. There you go. It all starts at the top, doesn't it?
It does indeed. But we're not teaching things like writing and reading and arithmetic anymore. We're teaching kids, oh, you're a victim. Oh, it's horrible. Everything's terrible. That's what they're hearing at school now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Harvard comes out against Jews, whoa.
Well, the new mayor of Chicago just blamed Republicans for all of the shootings in Chicago.
I know.
There hasn't been a Republican mayor in Chicago since 1930 something.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Behind the scenes.
The shadow government.
Yeah, they're somehow swooping in and somehow making people shoot each other in Chicago. I don't know how they're doing it. I'd like an explanation.
Nobody wants to take responsibility. It's always about pointing the fingers.
Yeah. It is. But again, and I was accused of this, blah, 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 blah. I have friends, dear friends that are far left and dear friends that are far right. I have friends down the middle. I don't turn on one or the other. I mean, I'll use an example. I adore Don Shelby. He's one of my heroes and one of my best friends. You couldn't be more liberal than he is. But good for him. Those are his beliefs, and I'm happy for him. Makes him happy. Like I said, I love the man. It's wonderful. Mike Lindell got a lot of problems, man. Mike Lindell has been nothing but nice to me his whole life. Now, if you've had a different experience, that's something you're going to have to deal with. I don't have those experiences with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I as you know, and Tom and I, we've talked about this many times. I don't pick a side. I don't belong to a party.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, then you're all of a sudden, am I then if let's just say, for example, that I lean left, does that mean I agree with everything the far left says? No.
No, of course not.
By definition, I think that does actually.
100%
support everything that has ever been said by
In certain cities and suburbs. Yes, it absolutely means that.
Yeah. So basically, isn't it don't believe anything you hear from people because it's not all correct. Part of it might be correct, but most of it's not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, did you see what they're doing to another little kid that painted his face up?
Yep, I saw that.
I know. They said he was wearing black.
They showed the one side. Okay, so he was a Chicago Chiefs fan.
Kansas City.
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Chicago Chiefs are a very new team. You've never heard of them.
Sorry. So good. I'm so good at sports. Anyway, he had one side of his face painted black and one side red. The team colors.
The team colors. Yeah.
He is a Native American.
Yep.
He had a headdress on.
Yep.
And he's like, what is he? He's 12?
I think he's 12 years old.
Yep. And they started ripping him that he was in blackface.
Yeah.
What? Disrespecting black people again.
Let's destroy them while they're young.
Yep.
What a joke.
Well, not to mention, how dumb do you have to be to believe the story that some kid goes to a Chiefs game in blackface?
Well,
pretty bold.
Upside for that kid to do that. Why would you believe that child would do something like that?
But see,
Because it doesn't make sense.
to me, that this type of story is what's going to maybe hopefully wake people up to let's not be so stupid.
Because it's just so obviously false and slanderous.
Right. And like, I mean, if we're being realistic, okay, maybe the headdress, not the greatest thing to wear to the football game because people, whatever. But like to then throw on blackface on top of that, like we don't have to add a black issue into it. Like you could just leave it at like don't wear a Native American headdress.
Well, the kid is a Native American though.
If he is Native, then technically he can do whatever he wants.
Because that's like the whole big issue with when Washington needed to change their name because they were like, you guys are out here wearing, headdresses and doing tomahawk chops and whatever else. So I mean, I could get that argument, but then to throw blackface on it, like blackface is the black struggle is not the cherry on top to every argument. We can just leave it in.
Yeah, well, there's this publication called Deadspin, and they are in it to destroy. I don't know who runs it, but Deadspin is really a super toxic site. They're just looking to destroy people.
What is that, Timmy? What is Deadspin?
It's exactly what Catherine described. It does have more of a sports bend to it.
Oh,
I don't, obviously I try to avoid that sort of stuff, but I think it's just more sports oriented hate. I don't know. I have to go look at it, but isn't when you're talking about teams though? Okay, so there's no longer the Chicago Chiefs.
Back to the Chicago Chiefs.
No longer the Cleveland Indians, so they're gone. The Washington Redskins, they're gone. The Chiefs are pretty much the last sports team, aren't they? With a Native American name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they're one of the last ones. I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head. Pretty much all of them have been shamed into changing their name.
Well, when are the Minnesota Vikings going to change then?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's coming.
It's the same thing.
Oh, it's coming. You're absolutely right. They are going to have to change their name.
Can you imagine the uproar with Vikings fans when that happens?
We probably change it to something stupid too, like the Loons.
No, the ice cover, or the Minnesota.
It can't even be an animal or anything. It has to be
Minnesota snow people. How about that?
Well, as I said, nothing will ever top, and I will not say the name of the team, but Pekin, Illinois, the high school mascot was not very complimentary to anybody in the world.
No.
Pekin, Peking, get it?
Mhm.
And it was the derogatory version of Chinese.
Mhm.
It's like that was actually their name for years. Like, why would you do that? Makes no sense.
We actually at this point have very few teams that are named after like a distant culture kind of thing.
Well, that's good.
We got the Vikings and we got the Chiefs, but the Cowboys, Texans, those make sense because
Yep.
there's a Texas thing. The Vikings aren't really a Minnesota thing. They're
No.
like some Minnesotans are distantly descended from Vikings, that sort of thing. But other than that, it's like I guess Tampa Buccaneers.
Just some Pirates.
Pirates aren't good. You got to change that.
Pirates aren't good. I don't know. The Vikings were known for raping and pillaging, so I don't know how this is standing.
I mean, it's out there in the distance. It's drawing closer.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, at some point, people are going to say, we can't do that anymore. It's happening.
Oh, it's definitely going to happen. There's no question about that. So what are you going to use? The Minnesota lamppost. That's not offensive.
Minnesota Ice.
The Minnesota Ice.
What the Texans theme? The Minnesota Minnesotans.
Yeah, the Minnesota Minnesotans.
The Houston Texans.
Nice and bland.
If the Oilers were still around, they would find a way to bitch about them. Oh, they were too rich.
Yeah, they polluted the planet. Yeah, no question about
Not the
that.
guys digging the well.
Why don't we? And I still believe they're the majority population in Minnesota. Why don't we name it the Minnesota Krauts?
Oh, I'm offended. I'm half German.
So am I. The Minnesota Kraut, baby.
And that's
it's like Jack Woltz in The Godfather. He thinks that Robert Duvall is Italian, and he says, "No, I'm German Irish." Well, then let me tell you, my Kraut Mick friend.
Oh, did you discuss Still Standing?
We talked about it a little bit, but
A
that
little
was.
bit.
Okay.
But yeah, bring it up because I want to get your take on it too.
Went to Bamfield, Canada.
Bamfield, Canada.
Yeah, there's
British
this.
Columbia.
What's the name of the comedian?
Johnny Harris.
Johnny Harris. We've been watching this series called Murdoch Mysteries for a very long time, and I don't know, on Freevee there's a bunch of Canadian shows that are popping up on Freevee for some strange reason.
Great.
And they're Still Standing, and I recognized him, and I think he's a good character on Murdoch Mysteries. So we watched a couple of episodes, and it's really a cool series. This guy goes to small, kind of dying out towns in Canada and talks to the people and gets kind of a take on what started the town, what are the town's problems, and then he does a little stand up for the people that live there.
It's very good.
He does it brilliantly. It's great. I think there's 9 seasons.
It's still going.
Yeah, and
Still going,
it's
yeah.
still going.
Yeah,
and there's
it's run from
13
2015.
episodes. Yeah, so there's a lot of tiny little towns in Canada,
believe me, there is.
Saskatchewan, British Columbia, all over the provinces up there.
Mhm.
It's just a quick little half-hour watch, and it's really well done.
Another quick half-hour watch. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get going in a minute here.
No, you're not. You're out of the mix.
Yeah, I got to get on something here. A story. But Kunk on Earth, Tom. I texted this to you.
Oh yeah, we like Kunk.
And so you've seen it.
Yes,
She's
hilarious.
Phenomenal.
My oldest daughter and youngest son introduced us to this show, and next thing you know, we watched the whole season like nothing. And there are actually other things out there: Kunk on Britain, Kunk on this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But she obviously is in Afterlife. So then my daughter started watching Afterlife, and it didn't take, I don't know, a few days just to crank through all 3 seasons of that, where she's a little bit more serious. She's very funny in it, but she can also just show you how dramatically great she can be. But her name is Diane Morgan.
Yep.
And
she's
my
great.
God, is she brilliant.
Terrific.
Oh, what a great show. So
She is indeed. Okay, I can send you off with this one, Timmy.
All righty.
I have my watch on that has, picture on it and all the rest of it. As we're talking, and I love our audience because they respond. I love the audience of this show, no question about it. They asked the question, What about this? They show the picture of the Seminole Indian screaming at the top of his lungs for the Florida Seminoles.
That's
honestly, he's going like, it's like, good God.
You know, it's funny that, and that's still the mascot for the Florida Seminoles.
Well, that's the one school or team that has actually won the argument to
yes
their name. Like they tried hard to get them to change it.
In South Dakota, there's the Fighting Sioux, and the Indians of the area were proud of the name.
I'll say, and that's the weird thing is most of the schools, they have some sort of affiliation with at least a regional tribe.
So they're not the Fighting Sioux anymore?
Okay. No, I think it was
they're
the Warhawks, not Warhawks. They're the
Fighting Hawks now.
There you
go.
go.
That's North Dakota. I thought it was South Dakota. Well, South Dakota does it too, because South Dakota I don't think has.
Yeah, South Dakota's the Coyotes, I believe.
I don't think anyone really cares about them.
And you talk about another ground zero for cancel culture, a college camp.
A college.
You know?
Listen, I'm sick to death of the abuse of the gopher as a emblem at the University of Minnesota.
Oh, that'll go
being
away.
mistreated.
That'll go away too.
Well, no one. People in Minnesota don't want gophers on their property, so
they don't.
Yeah, it's like naming your team the Termites. We don't want those.
Yeah. Well, the Gophers, the biggest thing that the Gophers get abused by is just every opponent they play in sports. So that's really the issue.
I tell you what offends me is you get a coach that everybody's what did they finish this year? 5-7, something like that. It's still going to a bowl game.
They had good grades.
Nice excuse.
All righty. I got to run. I'll see you on Friday, Tommy and Tevin and Andy. I'll see all of you. Catherine,
looking forward to it.
Welcome to join in anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you.
It's all true.
All
Thanks,
right,
Timmy.
Bye.
Have a good day. Yeah, do you think they're going to have to do something with that sports program over at the University of Minnesota? It's a disaster, and I'm talking about all of it.
Oh,
it's horrible.
Once again, same conversation, different year.
Well, they're not as bad as they are now. I mean, they're terrible.
Oh, I don't know. They've been bad.
The basketball team is just non-existent. I used to love watching Gopher basketball back in the day because they were good teams. I mean, of course, they had people like Kevin McHale on the team, so that doesn't hurt.
No.
But they're dreadfully bad now. That's got to be the athletic director, isn't it, Devin?
Yeah, it starts with the athletic director because he's the one hiring all these coaches. And it's not just, it would be different if it was just the football team was having a down year, but when it's football and basketball and women's basketball and then you keep throwing more and more teams on it, you got to get somebody new in there at some point.
I mean, the hockey team was really good, but even they couldn't close it out.
No, and I know hockey's very popular in Minnesota, but they're not generating enough revenue to overcome having a poor football team because most universities, the football team is what pays for all of these smaller schools and programs to exist.
So I wonder if they're going to change. Maybe have they changed the name of my high school mascot? I don't know if they have or not, or should they?
The Polars?
Yeah, the Polars.
The polar bear.
What's the name of your high school?
North High School in Minneapolis, the North Polars.
Nice.
And Catherine just got a call here. Way to go, Catherine. Very professional.
I'm very popular.
North Community High School?
No.
I don't think it exists anymore then.
Oh, no. North High School.
North Minneapolis.
North definitely still is around. A friend that went there.
Oh, I think you're talking about what's not around is Patrick Henry. They changed the name of Patrick Henry to Camden High.
Oh, that's right.
So they changed that name. But I think the North Polars. But remember, even what?
I think 1500 James Avenue North.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's definitely North Community High School.
Is it really now North Community?
Well, there was a lot of problems going on in North High. They were going to close it.
Who ever heard of that?
Because of lack of participation.
So they are still the Polars, yes.
They are.
Yeah, they were going to merge it with somebody, and then somebody decided that they needed a new name and new branding and this and that. And it's
Rogers Elementary, where we went when we were kids. It's now like the Rogers Magnet School or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Rogers Elementary anymore.
That's good.
Well, they must have built a new one in Otsego or something when all the building boom was going on.
But I tell you, the one thing about that, and I'm glad it actually came up, I wish people would understand we are not all the same. And it's not just based on gender or skin color or any of that. When you take somebody from the inner city, take somebody from the outer ring of the suburbs, take somebody all the way out to like Lake Minnetonka, we grew up completely differently. We are not going to be the same. So stop thinking we're all the same, because we're not. Who shoved that idea? Because that started when I was a teenager.
Well,
we're all the same. No, we're not.
I think it started with people have basic needs.
Yeah.
They need food, they need shelter,
Right.
they need, protections from evil people, blah, blah, blah.
Going to be good.
But then it turned into something else. Like it always
why?
does.
Well, I just don't understand.
Because you take one program that starts helping people and somehow the government finds zillions of dollars to expand the program and do nothing for anybody. It's just what we do.
Let's just assume our differences are not all bad, because that's where you are now. If you're different than me, that's bad.
Well, that's what I keep on saying. It's like I had no control over what parents or region or looks that I got when I was born. Did you?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Anybody get an opinion or an
They
order?
didn't send me a survey.
Yeah, it's just people were born to who they were born to, where they were born. And it's nobody's fault. Leave everyone alone.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. It's something I had no knowledge of, but I was questioning this whole COVID thing and this, that, and the other thing. I had no idea that Kristen Burt knows 4 people that died of COVID. Had I known that, I would have never brought it up.
Well, you know what? It's okay though.
I know, but
it's
still,
okay. Just because, somebody, my personal tragedy doesn't delete all of the other things that might be.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it is bad. It's terrible. I do know quite a few people that knew people that died of COVID.
Yeah.
I personally don't know anybody.
I don't either.
No, I don't know a single person.
Right. And it's not your
Which is
responsibility to know every
Right.
detail about everybody you encounter. It's just like, I feel like when you come into situations like that where, you just apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were affected by this, and everybody moves on.
But how sad is that she knows 4 people that died of COVID and we know none?
Which, I mean, we know a
Makes you
pretty
think.
big amount of people.
Yeah, we got a lot of people.
Surprising that we don't know anybody.
Plus, I adore Kristen Burt. That's the other thing. She might be one of the sweetest people I've ever met. So I felt pretty bad about that. But who the hell knows, right?
Yeah.
That's the way that all goes.
It doesn't, once again, it doesn't delete the idea that we all need all of the information about COVID and vaccinations.
Yeah, and we didn't get it.
Because
That
somebody
part
had
is
a
true.
bad, even if somebody died tragically, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have all the information.
Somebody told me that Fauci's now worth like $65 million. Is that true?
Invested in a lot of that stuff.
If that is true, that should be looked at. This man made all that money off of other people's misery.
Looks like he's right around 12.6 million.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. His wife is worth over 11 million.
That's what I'm saying. You add it all together.
What is his
Oh,
wife?
sorry. Fauci and his wife.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, I didn't know his wife was like a thing.
That's not a bad gig.
No.
But we should not have, and I'm not saying he did this because I didn't pay much attention to it. I like I said, I was boosted. I was in. I got the inoculation 3 times, was boosted twice, and I still got COVID twice. So whatever. I never got it seriously. The second time it was harder than the first time, but it was never really serious. So I mean, I don't like people making a lot of money off other people's misery like that. You're a doctor. You shouldn't make any money off of something that you helped develop. And he still denies he helped develop it, but I'm told it's
the vaccine,
the disease itself.
Oh, I didn't realize
that disease was developed.
But Fauci personally helped.
That's what they're saying. So yeah, I mean, who knows what you can believe from all these different people? But yeah, that's been going on for a long time. That people invent diseases so they can also invent a cure and make tons of money from it.
There was just a Chinese bio lab that was finally shut down in California.
Yep.
They had HIV and COVID and all kinds of, and they showed pictures of their refrigerators. They were dirty. They were rusted out. This was a bio lab that people were reporting that things were going on here, and their health department didn't look at it for years until they kind of had to.
Unbelievable. All to make money. That's the amazing thing. And like I said, I don't know what Fauci did, whatever, but it just doesn't look good on the surface. People, making money off other people's death is a little odd. I don't really, and I'm not talking about undertakers, that's a different deal. But let's close with one positive story. Does anybody have one?
Positive story.
Everybody's
Just Google positive story here and see what happens.
See if anything good's going on.
Anything good going on?
Let's see. Woman stabs boyfriend's eye. No.
Not that one.
Should you have sex at other people's houses during the holidays?
Not
NBA players dating a minor.
Oh,
not a lot of good.
There's no good news.
Not a lot of good news out there today.
What about news break? Clip with some local stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
George Floyd Square businesses sue Minneapolis.
They're suing Minneapolis. Yep. Anything? Does anybody have anything positive? That's so hilarious. You all three.
No good news
Not
stories.
really.
There are no good news stories, which is a news story itself, by the way, that they're not giving us any good news. They want us to be miserable.
A Holy Angels hockey player was released from the hospital, so that's kind of
there you go.
There you go. That's good news.
Yeah,
Laconia Business crafts cotton candy cakes. Tasty.
That's good. So you were trying to find all the good news we can just to make your day better for the listeners.
Well, yeah. Even like scrolling through the local news website quickly, there's not a lot of upbeat stuff going on.
Isn't that sad that there's no good news if you look at those websites?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
The best news that you'll see is if a sports team wins. Otherwise, it's all
and again in Minnesota that never happens. So
yeah. I mean, there's a skating rink opening in Woodbury on Wednesday. Outdoor skating rink. That's pretty neat.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today.
Tevin will still be sitting there tomorrow looking for some good news.
Yes, I will get back to you guys first thing tomorrow.
Have a wonderful day and good news to you for your family. I'll find it. We'll all find it. It'll be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks a lot. Talk to you tomorrow.
Reminds me of his woes before. Every time I hear the same, reminds me how you talking.